Hey, everybody.
Hey, all that bean footage. All that bean footage just keeps us here, y'all. Let's be happy. Just watch it.
We love it. And did you guys notice the new sponsor? That was amazing.
I know, new sponsor. And hopefully we'll have another one coming soon that we are big fans of. So fingers crossed for that. That's great because it's going to allow us to do a lot of paid marketing. I don't know if you noticed, but it's getting kind of big. Paid marketing is very powerful. We're on
Amen.
Anyway, hey, how's everybody doing? Good.
Doing good. Hectic day, but good.
Looking good.
Yeah, it was a bumpy day for me too. Not gonna lie, it was kind of crazy. Lots of family stuff, but it worked out. And here, and we're about to talk about some things, aren't we? So if you guys haven't noticed, yeah, we are. We're going to talk about some stuff. And there's going to be varying opinions, and that's going to be interesting. You may see me do this a lot because I officially have Mounjaro butt. It's like saggy butt. Don't be happy about that.
All you gotta do is put your legs right in between this thing.
Not just me.
You just want
These
me
are
to do
your
butt
knees.
stuff.
You just do this.
I know. That's what I hear. I'm gonna have to. It's very uncomfortable. Honestly, it's worse than that. It hurts.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I had no butt prior to a GLP, and I literally it's flatter than flat. There's
flatter
nothing there.
No. Yeah. Well, I got all the skin there, but the muscle.
To the water. I can't make y'all drink.
I know. It's true.
Kat, when you start, all right, I'm gonna start doing butt stuff with Kat.
I need to, but we should all do butt stuff with Kat. It should be a whole thing. It's footage for the channel. All right.
I'm gonna say we should make it part of our weekly team meeting. 10 minutes of butt stuff with Kat.
Yeah. And our team's growing.
Videos.
We got a fun video coming about that soon, don't we?
I know.
That is going to be a good one. Yes. Okay. Let me make sure. Can you guys see me? All right. My lighting is not good.
You look great.
Hey.
Your lighting is good. Love.
Okay. It's quick. Okay.
Wait a minute. I might need
to
adjust.
We're good. We're good. Hey, Dave.
I like it, Dave.
Dave. She can lead me to the butt, but you can't.
Let you do this stuff.
Facts. I try.
I know.
We like Kat's butt stuff.
All my life.
My booty.
I kept my booty somehow. That's great. Yeah, I thought I did. And then with MJ, I've just lost a good bit more and it's gone. I just need to tone up the muscle. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. I feel like that Elmo. Everything's fine. You know that Elmo what do you call it? Gift?
Because we all, except Kat, we all sit on pads, on butt pads.
Yeah.
I have a pad.
Right now I'm not. I've sort of learned how to lean. So if you see this happening,
Kat says she's got a butt pad. It's her butt.
No, I have right.
I'm thinking about one of them donut ones for people that have hemorrhoids.
I have one like Janine.
You do?
The one that has the little
it's okay.
cutout.
Eventually it still hurts,
No. But you got to get the one with the hump in the back.
Yep.
I don't know if I did that right. I don't know.
I'll put a hump in your back, all right.
I bet you will.
You are not going to kill us,
I got all my best stuff from being overweight.
Nope.
I'm very quickly not feeling. Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Feeling your jeans. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
My jeans were falling down today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The struggle is real.
You got to get on the Vervet Judy Blue train. Are you on the Judy Blue train, Janine?
She's going to get there. She's had Judy Blues before.
Good.
I do have a two pair of Judy Blues or Duty Blues.
That's real sweet.
Duty Blues. Thank you, Sabrina.
You guys that don't know my son, he's grounded from all the things. Hey, Sabrina. Oh, thank you for your membership.
Hi, gorgeous.
Sabrina's
thank you, friends. Best. Sabrina's also going to be joining our team of volunteers to help with the plus size, which is amazing. So helpful.
So excited to have Sabrina.
Yes.
She's amazing.
I take care of the person in the wheelchair and the cushion I got from him. Really?
No bed sores. Wonderful.
Awesome.
That's great. I need one of those. Anyway, if you see me doing this a lot, that's why. I'm not being all good morning, Anna. I'm not being like that. I'm like, or Stevie Wonder. I'm not doing all that. I'm just giving my butt a little break. Anywho, Duty Blues.
Say Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, I love Stevie Wonder. You know how he is. You know how he is on the mic.
When he's like singing, he's like
all up in the mic
like this.
Yeah.
Come on.
And Ray Charles, same thing, right? They're just like
Ray Charles.
That's my sister. Hi, Kim.
Ray Charles.
Hey, Kim.
Sister. That's my Dr. Kim.
Hi, Kim. Look.
Oh,
Hi, Kim.
hello.
Hi, Kim.
All right, we got a lot to cover tonight. Before
we do.
Judy Blues, which is what my son calls Judy Blues, and I did get Kat on board because I knew Kat needed to get out of her athletic wear.
I saw the jeggings.
So we got her some jeggings, and she's already bought another pair. They're addictive. Be careful. I was about to quit TikTok shop, and then I sold 3 pairs today, and now I'm like,
It reeled you back in.
Every pair.
Like, you're not going anywhere.
Judy Blues.
Yeah. Started pushing out my Duty Blue jeans. Yep. That's what my little boy calls them, Duty Blues. I'm sick of watching Duty Blues, Mom. Too bad. If you see my room in here, it's just got TikTok shop everywhere. It's like a TikTok shop.
Thank you, Sherry. Welcome to the
Thank you, Cherie.
Oh, thank you, Cherie. Oh, thank you for your membership. Okay, let's get started. We got a big night.
Yeah, we have a big night in front of us.
We do. We do. We got a panel, y'all. We got a panel. Yeah. So one of our guests couldn't make it, which is a sad story. She's stuck at work. But we will miss her. But we have plenty of other people with lots of opinions. You know what they say about opinions. So we're going to hear a bunch of them here. So we're going to break things down from clips, and comment on them and talk about them. I mean, obviously, we're going to try to be as pithy as possible with our answers, but this is going to be long form content. So for all of my fellow TikToks who have a short attention span like myself, get comfortable, get some popcorn,
and beyond.
Have a glass of wine.
20 and beyond.
We're going to talk. Thank you so much for your membership. I think that was AJ, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, water check. We got to do that real quick. All right. Listen. If you're new, see this thing right here? This is a Stanley. It's an MJ Stanley. And we have a coupon for $10 off. And a portion of the sale goes to help the podcast.
Yeah, it does.
So if you're interested, there's a post on the YouTube. And also if you follow me on the TikToker or any of us on our link tree and our profile, and you can click on it and get it. $10 off. Podcast 10 is the code. Okay. All right.
We'll be talking between my favorite Halloween cup too.
Okay. Do you have your MJ mug? You need your water.
Yeah, I do.
I've got water and Coke because I'm tired.
I have my office decorated.
Oh, we're double fisting.
I decked the halls today.
We're double fisting.
Look
at you.
Are we double fisting
cold brew
tonight? Are we double
today?
fisting?
So I'm on water now.
You're on water.
I had 2 extra large cold brews today, so water only for me tonight.
I could tell. I was getting messages from this morning I'm like,
so my very first message to Kim this morning was basically good morning Vietnam, where they're yelling in the because I was like, good morning, how are you doing? I'm very caffeinated. She's like, I'm really caffeinated. I'm like, that's good. We're cool. Okay.
You can always
all right, let's get started. Ready? We got stuff. So we've got the initial bean footage. All right. Now keep with us. This is our first panel. So these are the people who are joining us from our community to share different perspectives, which is very important. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that panel.
There's everybody.
Look, Lori's got prime real estate right there. She'd be like, bam, each probably Judy Blues. This is good times right here. Oh, you're on mute. There, go off mute, y'all. I
have a whole pile of Judy Blues over here.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine your fun video. Oh, who we just lose?
Wait, I lost her name.
She's back. She's back. All right, are we all back? Are we all here? No, someone's missing. Brandy's missing. What just happened? All right, hopefully there she is. She's coming. I see her. Bam, she's coming.
She's not south of France.
She's coming. Son of a biscuit. South of France.
We lost the south of France.
When we had Rosie on, and Kat was in Nice, and Brandy's coming. We're waiting for her. And Kat was in Nice, and she fell off, and Rosie goes, "Oh, we lost the south of France. We lost the south of France. Yay!
There you go.
Oh, fancy. Maybe I should leave. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, hey." So, thank you so much, PMAC, for your membership.
Yeah,
thank you so much. We've got lots of extra footage for our members now. Extra stuff for them. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Hey, how's it going? All right. We lose Brandy again?
Yeah.
Son of a biscuit. All right, she'll be back. Well, while we're waiting for her, because she'll be back, and then I'll plug her in because we need her. We need her.
P-Mac. Thank you,
I know, so sweet.
Thank you.
All right, Lisa, you haven't missed anything. We're just getting ready to start.
Yeah, everything's cool. All right, so let's I hope Brandy comes back.
She there's Leslie. Thank you for your
thank you, Leslie. Thank you for your membership, friends. So helpful. I want to have our Brandy here. Hey, you're back. Whatever you're doing.
I don't know what keeps happening, but I just switched to my phone because I'm wondering if that's part of the problem.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
well, now I see the ceiling. But it's cool. Yeah. Oh. You got like a tripod or something?
Yep.
Everything was going so well. I don't know what happened.
I don't need.
Are you on the Wi-Fi?
Nature of the beast.
Wi-Fi?
On the week.
Yeah.
The
it's not a webinar. We're fine. We're not live. Yeah.
The Wi-Fi is
true. I'm so
on a Wi-Fi?
sorry.
It's okay. Are you on Wi-Fi and are you on like airplane mode or something like that so you don't get calls? Because if you get calls.
Oh, airplane mode. Let me do that.
Yeah. And then what you do,
No,
JT?
not airplane mode. Do not disturb.
What is it?
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb.
Airplane mode will turn off the internet. You don't want that.
We don't want that.
I don't know how to do not
so
disturb.
Pull it down and like it's the thing that says focus.
Do you have iPhone though? I don't know. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You're sweetie.
Got it.
Well, did we just lose Lee?
All
right, everybody stop making things optimal. Stop it, Lee. Hold still. All right. Listen, here's the thing. What we're gonna do is pull up some clips like from the episode, and then we're just gonna comment on them and have a discussion. Let's all just be respectful of each other. Try to remember everybody's gonna have a turn, hopefully, about what they think about things and if they agree and they don't agree. But it's important that we listen because on the plus side we learn and we heal together, right? So let's have conversations. All right.
What you guys might not know is that Lee was actually on the special.
Lee was on the special.
Yes, he was.
He did such a great job.
Oh my gosh, Lee, your video where you were like, where Oprah was like, "Where is Lee?" And you were like,
"I know."
Right here. Yeah.
He was like, "I'm here."
I love when he's like, and she was
right
like,
here,
Oprah.
Oprah.
Did you think you shouldn't have had the lasagna? You're like, no, lasagna was great. It's so much. Definitely my favorite part. Do we have his? Do we have his clip?
We do.
Do we have his clip?
We do.
We do have reverb. Brandy's on mute. It can't be
It's
her.
probably my thing because I keep having to disable it and re-enable it, or I get
okay.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. Well, okay, sorry. We'll work it out. Okay.
Do we want to give our guests a second to introduce themselves?
Oh, we should. Thank you for the prompt. Yes. Hey, guests. Let's start with, in the order. Hey, Lori, who are you? What you about? What you doing? How you going?
You're going to make me introduce myself when I don't know what format you want me to introduce myself in.
Yes.
Just be you. You're amazing. Just being you, baby.
You're authentically Lori.
I'm Lori. And, I've been on the GLP-1 medication since late July of 2022. I have lost about 105 pounds now.
Wow.
So, way to go.
Wow.
Awesome, Lori. As she is actually one of the first, her and Rachel were like my first people that I started following, over a year ago. And she had been a couple months into it at that point. And they were like she would go, "Hi, I'm new here." And she gave me so much like insurance and stuff info. Those were some good videos. You should repost those for all the newbies. Those were good.
Always a great.
Just
hey, Lost in Lyrics. Yes.
No, he lost the lyrics.
Yes. All right, cool. All right. What about you, Lee? Who are you? Which from? How you doing? What's up?
Hello. I'm Lee. I was on Oprah. That's my only thing I've ever done in my life.
That's enough, right?
Really? And I made her laugh, which was my favorite part. So yeah, I'm and this lasagna.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Yeah, the lasagna was delicious.
Dave. Nice. So yeah, no, I'm a lawyer out here in Seattle, Washington, on the other coast, and started Ozempic in April. And man, I don't know. I think there's just not a lot of guides that posted, at least back then, on their experience because the whole thing went crazy and started, getting to meet everybody and do these different appearances, which has been crazy. So my journey's been very public. Some people hide from their family and friends that they're on this medicine, even if they're on TikTok. Well, like right off the bat, man, everyone I ever met in my life knew I was doing it. So it's been crazy. But yeah, so it's been awesome, and excited to talk more about it tonight for sure. So I'll stop there.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, Brandy, who are you? What you doing? Why here? What's up?
Well, my name is Brandy. I'm from Wyoming, big, beautiful Wyoming. And
nice.
I am a weight loss surgery patient. I had gastric sleeve in 2019. I am a binge eater. So that did not fix the stuff in my brain. So I started gaining back a little bit of the weight, about 20 pounds. And I started hearing all this chitter chatter about GLP-1 medications. And Mounjaro was the one that popped up. And there was a beautiful little coupon for $25 and a telehealth company that I was just like, hey, this sounds like it's for me. So I hopped on board with them and I lost 30 pounds. So an additional 10 off of what I, and let me tell you, the weight loss was the small part. That was the icing on the cake of what I gained in freedom from food and freedom from myself. Honestly, I was my own worst person, to be truthful with you. So I am thrilled to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
We're so glad to have you. Yeah, anybody that riffed off of my rant, I was like, yeah, they're coming. So that was good. All right, awesome. Well, so we're so glad to have you here. We did have, just so you guys know, we did have Candace that was going to come. I just want everybody to know she really did want to be here, but she had WOIC. She got stuck at WOIC. Yeah. So it's sad. It's sad. We're going to miss her. But if you want to watch her story, it's excellent. It's wegovy. If you want to look it up, everyone see your episode. Love my Brandy. Okay, cool. So I do too. I love my Brandy too. But Brandy, like, you were in good company. Kat and I both struggle with BED. I've had also weight loss surgery. Like, we live.
I'm really glad you touched on that because
thousands and thousands of dollars on therapy.
Lori too. Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. Well, I'm like really glad you touched on that, Brandy, because like my part of my journey is I was thinking about doing weight loss surgery, and in hindsight, I'm glad that I didn't, because with my BED, there's like, it would not have fixed up here. I would have been struggling really hard, and I think that's true for a lot of people.
It didn't work for me either. Like, it worked for a while, but I just was like, for years, just like white knuckle. I didn't know there was another way, and there is. Let's talk about it. Yeah. I can't wait. We're going to play some clips, and then we're all going to comment on it, and we're going to be respectful. We're going to be kind. We're going to listen. We're going to learn. KK? Hey.
Yeah.
First one. Tee up is, I have it on here. It's obesity is a disease. So we're going to start with that one. Okay.
Obesity is a disease. These medications are teaching us about the pathophysiology of this disease. And my goal is to help patients get to the happiest, healthiest weight for them. Not a specific number. There is not a target number. I will not give you a target number. If you are my patient,
will not give you a target number.
Yeah. I'm so glad she touched on that, because there's so many, like, and I'm guilty of it. When I go live, like my little panel that's like behind me, it's like, oh, this was my start weight. This is my goal weight. This is how you figure this out. And so many people concentrate on that so hard. So like, to hear the doctor say, no, don't do that. Like, don't do that. It's not a great idea. Like, thank goodness somebody's saying that,
Yeah, for sure. It was nice to hear it on television from doctors, like on a big, like, I feel like we see it all over TikTok, like from our doctors and stuff. But I don't know, like, part of me, a lot of times when I would hear the doctors talk here, I would be like, yeah, like, get on, you just knowing this, we've been talking about this for a year. Like, another doctor's been talking for 2 years, you know what I mean? And so part of me was like that when I saw it, like, oh, please. But I have to remember it's the platform, right? What about you, Lori? What were you thinking?
I think so many people get hung up on goal weight, and there's this disconnect between that they also have a goal size, and your goal size and your goal weight are not always 100%. Going to match. And then they, they get really hung up on, well, I'm this weight. Why am I not this size? Or I'm this size, but I still weigh more. And the number on the scale, and there's more important numbers to focus on.
So true.
Oh
What about you, Brandy? Wow. What about you, Brandy?
So I had a feeling was my goal, I guess. And it was never a size or a weight. And once I got to this certain spot, I was like, oh, I like how I feel in clothes. I can go into any store and go to the dressing room and everything fits. I may not like how it looks, but everything fits, right? I didn't have to go to this little corner in the back where there weren't any lights and knock on the door and be like, can you let me into the plus size section? You know?
Yeah, totally.
You know, and most stores have my size. So I was like, let's do it. And that's kind of where I was. And I got comfortable with that. And here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm still getting there. I've never been able to set a goal weight, guys. I've never been able to set one. I always was like, you know what? I think I'd like to be like a 14, right? And because in my mind, that's probably I was 14 in high school, but even that just sounds ridiculous to me, like insanity to even think of myself as that size. But
and think about what you just said too. That was your size in high school. Your body has gone through so many different things since that you've had a baby. Your body has changed.
I had a couple miscarriages that messed me up pretty bad.
Yeah. So a size 4 or a size 14 for you now may not fit you the same as it did back then.
Totally.
So those aliens breaking in again.
Oh, those aliens. Lori's aliens. It's okay. She'll get in and out. She'll disable. She'll be back. It's all good. It's all good. What about you, JT and Kat? You guys tell me, do you have feelings about that clip?
That clip
shook me.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Only thing I was going to say.
All right, JT, you go first. There we go.
That clip, I think, was the one that that just not in a bad way, but it stung. It stung, and I think I text you and Kat and Lydia, and I was just like, "Whoa!" And I respect Dr. Fatima so much, and I know from the beginning, I said my goal is 150. I don't know where I got it from. I just said 150. But in a way, I feel like maybe it's like a benchmark, like a mental benchmark. But at the same token, I see what she's saying, and it's making me reevaluate, especially because I said 150 is my goal. I'm 4 pounds away from my goal now. So it's like,
you've been bouncing around a lot, right? Like through those
look,
right? It was frustrating. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
I don't know.
I think sometimes a goal weight can be can lead to some disordered eating too. I know I look like looking back with a different lens at different points in my life. When I was in college, I was in the college marching band, and I went to the University of Georgia. The Georgettes, the dance girls, had a rule that in order to even audition, you got 100 pounds for the first 5 feet of your height and 5 pounds for each inch over that. And I was 5'10". So I thought, okay, so that means that 150 is thin, and 151 and anything above that is fat. And so I was 160. And that messed with my head so much. And I didn't want to be a Georgette. I didn't want to be on the dance line. But the fact that they had that rule, and that if they went over that number, or whatever the number was for their height, or if they put on a certain number of pounds from their audition weight, they were benched. So I had this like, oh my gosh, I can't, like, I need to lose 10 pounds. And I was already not eating it. Like, in hindsight, it was very disordered eating. So, goal weight has been triggering in the past. So it's, it's something to think about.
I also, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brandy.
I just want to share that 150 pounds is where I am at, and still on that evil BMI chart, I am overweight.
My gosh.
And I look at myself, I have size 8, size 6 jeans, and it's like, I'm still overweight. So it's like, I weigh myself strictly to make sure I'm maintaining, and as long as I stay within, I'm just like, whatever, because I can't do it anymore. I cannot physically do it anymore.
Yeah. That's interesting that Natalie said that the dietitian encouraged you to do a goal range, I get that.
That's good.
I guess. I don't know.
Initially, my doctor didn't encourage me to do any of it with like a goal. But then I being on TikTok and like kind of collaborating with other people, I thought I'd asked him on one of my visits, and he said the same thing. Do a range, like figure out like what weight were you the last time you felt healthy, and, you know, everything looked decent as far as your blood work and stuff like that. And like, maybe go within 10 pounds less than that, you know, and that's your goal. That's your range. So mine was like 150 to 160. So.
See, I feel like people are really, go ahead, Kat. Go ahead. It's okay. We have a lot of people. It's going to happen. Go.
Watching that when she mentioned like there's no goal weight for her patients, but I come back to this all the time with all of these doctors that I listen to, especially with TikTok and with the Oprah special, as I still catch myself feeling so seen, like, because we've all been talked at all of our lives, right? I would ask questions to normal doctors. You know, I know I had one doctor actually just not even speak to me and not even get introduced. The first thing out of his mouth, "What do you think is wrong with you?"
Oh, wow.
You know, I had some pompous a-hole doctors in my past, but so I am so refreshed and appreciative of all these doctors that see us, right? I've never felt so seen until I was 46.
Sorry, that killed me. That killed me, Kat. Keep going.
So, and then like not setting a goal weight, that's even like more refreshing, because they're just the doctors that I remember. I had one that I went to a doctor not recently, but like about 10 years ago. I picked her because it said she was weight loss specialist, right? Or she specialized in weight loss. She just talked at me. She told me, "Oh, well, you got to watch that wine. Well, you know, your BMI is really high. What are we going to do about it?" Well, you're the weight loss specialist. Let's not recommend Weight Watchers to me.
You tell me what we're going to do.
But I've just been so exhausted by doctors. So when I hear this, when I heard that, I was just, Dr.
Totally. I think it's a lot of times people too, especially if you came in, you know, as large as I did, or even if our friends who are, you know, 400, 500, 600, we have plenty of those people in the community, right? It's hard to even conceive of being overweight when you hit a certain point. Like, I can't even see it. Like, even if I was a size 14, that's for me still obese. So I don't even know, but I'm with our friend that just posted. For me, it's my blood numbers and how I feel in my spirit.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
That was Cynthia.
Yeah.
Lab number.
Exactly.
My goal is my lab.
Labs. Your labs, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll move on. Oh, no, Lee didn't get to say anything. Hey, Lee, what you think? What you doing?
Hey,
Lee was there.
I was there.
What'd you think about that, Lee, when you were there at the show?
I will tell you, Dr. Fatima was amazing. She was definitely the chattiest.
We want to get her on the show.
Yeah, that would be good. All the doctors were good. Dr. Rachel, I posted a video with Dr. Rachel, and she's actually pretty active. She's commented and back and forth on TikTok some, so she's engaged. She might be somebody who you could get on. Fatima, I haven't been able to engage with her outside of the show, but anyway, this is back to the comment that you posted, or that somebody posted. What she was saying was that it's one data point, your weight, and that you get focused on that one thing. But it goes into this idea of body positivity too, because there can be people who are high on the BMI chart, so their weight number, their data point for their weight is high, but everything else is really good and they're very healthy. So they wouldn't necessarily be considered unhealthy even though their weight is high. So focusing on weight as a goal in and of itself is very toxic, because you're focusing on this thing, and then you can be very healthy with your liver function, with your A1Cs and your sugar and your cholesterol and your blood pressure, and all those things are good, but you're a little high on the weight. Who cares? So, and I get this way, and this is just me talking for my perspective, but when I don't talk about how much I've lost that much or what my goal weights are, because it gets negative in my mind really quickly, that I'm like, I'm not doing it right, or I'm failing, or that person's doing better than me, when really you're only looking at one thing out of all the things you could be looking at. And that negativity creeps in, and that's when I'm like, that's not good. Oh, and there's the aliens.
It's him. It's my AT alien, I think. He's just over there.
Anyway, so I resonated really when she said this during the taping. I was like, oh, that's going to be an interesting thing to talk about, because so many people talk about their numbers specifically to weight.
Yeah.
And she's saying, stop doing that. And I'm like, oh boy, okay.
Stop doing that.
Well, and it's like important to remember, like the weight loss is it's a victory, but it's just not the only or like the most important victory to concentrate on. I think that was sort of the point. Like it's still great. Like when you've lived in a bigger body for so long, because that's like a suffering. Like for me, it was a suffering, right?
Yeah, it was.
And so like it's great to be victorious in that, but it's more important to concentrate on the other things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it should be disregarded.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead, Lee. That's what this is for.
I hesitate to say that you shouldn't think about it. You should. I mean, in my opinion, I do. I have a range that I want to get to, but I don't want it to be the big focus. So I think it's totally amazing. Every time somebody posts something about losing 100 pounds, 150 pounds, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I'm seeing the little fire emojis and everything. Yeah. I'm proud. It's amazing. So it should be celebrated. Yes, I didn't mean to say that. Sorry.
No, we understand.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. Totally understand it. Yeah.
I think part of it though too is I don't know if anybody had this type of doctor, but I did. Everything that I came in for, every ailment that I had was my weight. It's because you weigh this much. It's because you weigh that much.
For me.
And it always, that was the problem. And so that's why I think we focus so hard on the number, because
good point.
That's what's going to fix all of these things.
Sure.
So that's what we've been taught. So that's why we're revamping and we're doing it different. And I appreciated what she said, because that drew everybody back and was like, oh, but wait.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that was pretty early on, I think, wasn't it? In the special?
It was right at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting the way it set the stage. I think there was new? What?
Well, I think it was at the end.
Yeah.
I think it was at the end.
Oh, was it?
And and
should have been at the beginning.
And the entire studio seemed to go silent. I'm not sure Lee, if it was like that, but I mean, literally, I was like, I said, oh.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. And Dr. Fatima had a few of those where everybody's like, oh,
she did.
That was one of them.
She did.
Well, and the next clip we have, it's Dr. Rachel sort of jumps in right after Dr. Fatima and sort of talks about the way we talk about it too.
Oh yeah, let's watch that. Okay.
Yes. About the fact that obesity is a disease, because one of the things that we're getting wrong is this idea that it is calories in, calories out. And like Dr. Fatima just said, it's not that for everyone. It's that for some people, but it's not for others. And people that really struggle with their weight, with their health, and with obesity, it's not that. It's not about moving more and, eating less. And that is what we have to change. We have to change that conversation as we're doing here. We have to educate more people and raise more awareness about this.
Yeah. What'd you think? We'll start with Lee.
You know what? I actually wanted to start, because I will tell you what, when she said this during the thing, I was like, this is going to be clipped and people are going to roast her. I've been waiting to see the calories in, calories out people and the gym bros.
Oh yeah.
All the
fitness,
absolutely. Yeah, just absolutely crushing Dr. Rachel. And I think it's coming. This just came out. So I know these clips are coming of her saying that it's not calories in, calories out, and there's other factors. Because when she said that, I was like, oh, she's going to get massacred on TikTok.
She's not going to get roasted by us, because we know.
No.
She can come on our show. If she wants
to. For sure. Like, because we know that that's the truth. It's not calories in, calories out for everybody. It can't be, right? Because most of us have tried that. It didn't work.
Well, and it's not that moving your body more and eating less is not a good practice. It's that
it totally is. Yeah.
The only thing, then that's just stupid. Because it's too simple. It's just too simple. And like when I hear people talk about like berberine or vitamins or whatever it is, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's
glutamine,
the complex disease of obesity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, no.
It works for some people. Some, but it just gives me gas.
It's the sum.
Well, for
40% of America, it doesn't work. You know, like 40%.
I think the vast majority of people who have lived in a larger body have had the experience of being with friends who are in smaller bodies and having them comment on that they're surprised at how little you ate.
Yeah. Totally.
You know,
that happened in the Rosie episode,
like,
even.
Oh, wow, I'm surprised. You know, that's this aside comment. And sometimes it's like I'm proud of you that you only ate that. And it's kind of like, that's all I ever eat, you know, but you just assume that I'm going to, you know, shovel it all in because I'm heavier, but
totally.
That's not the case.
And I want to add something to that, Lori, because so it's also like a sustainability thing for me. So, okay, maybe if you are eating less and you're moving more and you start to lose weight, but there's something off, you know, and I'm not trying to make myself sound crazy, but you all know what I'm talking about. There's something wrong in my brain. There's a chemical hormonal issue with how things work in my, so maybe it works for a short period of time, which, because I've experienced that. And so the calories in, calories out, like technically I understand what they're saying, but there's no way I could live like that because I'm constantly fighting this disease of obesity and it falls off and it falls apart eventually. And then I gain even more back. So,
well, and the calories in, calories out doesn't fix the biochemistry issue that you may have going on in your body.
Yeah.
Like it's never going to fix that. I could starve myself, not eat anything, go to the gym every single day, and the biochemistry is still going to be off inside my body.
Or, you know, for my situation, like if I'll do calories in, calories out and go hard and be on my A game for 3 days. But by that fourth day, I'm in the KFC drive-through ordering an entire bucket. Yeah.
Because your body's starving.
Because you feel like you're starving.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, it's not
your
hunger,
body's
right?
like
we know what that feels like.
Calories.
You feel like you're starving. It's like your body's sending you this panic signal. And, you know, I don't know if you guys have that, but I got that. Same thing Kat said.
I get like sick. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever had this. I've never really talked about it, but like if I would try and go really strict on the diet, like my body's reaction would be to feel like I was actually ill unless I ate more. It wasn't just mental. Like I would actually not feel well unless I ate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally. Yeah.
I'm just glad that we're
JT?
talking about this because even still on Meta, there are people that will see someone who's in a larger body. And I just kind of almost went toe to toe, like virtually toe to toe with someone in a nice way. But, you know, when you see someone in a larger body and people say, oh, well, they're not losing it the right way. My question to them was, well, what is the right way?
Because the right way can look different for so many people.
Yeah.
Right. And so the person happened to be a gym girl, like a real like gym bro girl. And she was just like, she's like a gym bro chick. And
gym bra, I like that.
And her only response was, well, I work with clients that are obese and you just do you. And you know that I can go all day. And I was like, oh, that was the wrong thing to say. So I'm like, but people still have that mentality of you didn't lose it the right way. And it's the calories in and calories out. And it's like, well, who are you to say calories in, calories out? Are you with this person every time they eat? I mean,
are you a doctor? Have you seen their labs?
Not to mention, I'm telling you, all those people that talk like that, I'm the fat friend they go eat guacamole with. Like, I'm telling you, all those people tell lies. Those bitches, be at my house being like, hey, let's go get some guac. Yeah, lies. You eat cheese dip and guac. You just happen to do it with me and not with your other friends because you guys are all saying that about each other and you guys all eat guac. So I don't want to hear it.
I would eat guac every day from Chipotle. Every day.
No, you wouldn't.
Right? Come on.
It would take a long time to shift the mindset. That's right. I'm hoping that with, I think there's good and bad with social media. I'm hoping that y'all know. Okay, so this is going to sound kind of silly, but I'm just going to let you know. I believe very strongly that the way that you can change things is by making a song. And I have been able to see what this podcast was going to look like in terms of the topics and all of the different things from the beginning. I could see it. And I know that sounds It's cheesy. I swear to
Not
God.
at all.
I could see it like if you were writing a song, you know, people that can like write music and stuff. I could just see it, all of it. And I thought to myself, that's what it is, right? It's just like when you hear a song on the radio that people want to make a hit because they got business going. It ain't that good, but they play it so much before you know it, you're singing along. So I'm hoping that we're going to write a song. Other people are going to write a song. Even Oprah, she's going to write a song, and we're going to keep singing it until people sing it.
She
and I think
Oprah can buy the studio.
Yeah.
Well, and see that's the one thing, like, I think about her doing this special is that it's finally somebody that's big in media that's like pushing this out and saying, look, here's the thing, and here's all the science, and here's all the experts saying these are the things, and this is why this works for people.
She got that idea from. I'm just saying.
But this time she said, y'all going to pay for this. You want to see this special?
That's right.
Yeah. We don't charge here.
Now we open the can. Now we open the can.
Here we go. Here we go.
But thank you, Kat.
My bad.
That is all on her because she owns a media company.
The billionaire. There's no reason that she could not have said,
but
if I want to be,
we can't watch her coins though. We're not in her pocket.
She's a billionaire, babe.
It doesn't.
She literally is the richest woman on the planet.
And she could take one episode and make it open source for everybody to see.
Give everybody a free trial.
Yeah. See. Look.
Kat's leaving.
Listen, Jernine, hold on. Let me say this about Oprah.
This stance. It's just that everyone talks about, and this has been such a sticking point, and I've seen it, and this is just me. I understand what people are saying about, well, she's a billionaire. One,
yes,
she is a billionaire. Not we are billionaires. Two, we are not in her wallet. We are not employees of her company. We are not on her board. She slashed the price from $70 to $35. It's a media company. Now, you all can judge her and you all do whatever. I'm not judging her because if it were me, I would be charging $10 or something because you know why? I got to pay Dr. Fatima. I got to pay Dr. Rachel.
But you a billionaire, babe. Like she can cover the cost of one show.
But who's to say that she may not cover the cost of the second one? We don't know.
Is there a second one?
There might
it
be.
may be.
You never
but
know.
like, isn't she opening the door?
She says we got to continue this conversation.
Yeah. Exactly. Look.
See, I go back to though when I was a teenager and I was a young adult, Oprah made a lot of shows about weight loss, working out, obesity. She made a whole lot of shows about that because the content was relevant for her. Okay. Why did I tune in? Why did Oprah make all the money she made? Because all the people like me were tuning in. Oprah's already made lots of money off of people in big bodies. The least she could have done was say, look, here's a free, you can get one free episode. If you sign up with me now, you can have one free episode.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
She could. Because if you guys, I want you guys to think about the fact that JT, think about it. And I've had this conversation many times, and it's why representation is so important on our show. When it comes to obesity, when it comes to type 2 diabetes, it runs rampant. Within the Black community, it runs rampant within poverty. Those people can't afford $35 for some show. How are you going to get the message to help those people? And she should know better. She should have done that. And it was a mistake and it was a miss. It's not like I don't love her.
Not going to judge her.
I love her, but it was a stupid ass decision.
I know, but
she could have done it. And that would have been goodwill.
He's over here like, oh my gosh.
Doesn't she have maybe a board to answer to? I don't know.
It's Harpo Productions. If she's got a board, I'm sure she's still the head of it by far.
I'm not mad at her for charging. If she charged, she charged. But at least we have conversations like this that are free. Now,
that's free.
Now,
could
she have done it for free? Yeah. But did she? No.
Look, and that's what we're talking about. And it wasn't okay. And I don't think, like, for me, it hasn't just turned me off to nothing, but there have been several people who have been like, I can't do that. Like we're in the middle of recession. Like, my husband's working, like all of these different things. I can't spend $35, you know?
I get
it's
it.
Stupid.
I do.
You know, Pretty Hate Machine's got a good point. She may make the show free. You know
Soon.
what?
I hope so. I hope that she hears this
I
feedback
hope so.
of this little podcast and goes,
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I bet you'll make the show free soon. Something is going to come out of this because I think that we all know Oprah after all this time. She doesn't just open a door and then leave. She doesn't just open a door and just be like, okay, well, bye.
But is the carrot going to be, because this is marketing, right? Is the carrot going to be, now you've paid, we're going to have another episode. Don't you want to see it? And then she tries to pull multiple ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep paying. Like, I'm just saying.
Sabrina wants to know Lee's take.
See that, Lee?
What do you think, Lee?
I saw that.
What do you think? Nice tee up. Thanks, Sabrina.
I want to hear. I want to hear everybody's opinions. Okay, I did do a video on this, but I lean more towards JT. So that's why we've got diverse panel, which is great.
That's right. That's why
as an attorney, my time and my words are the things that I sell. Oprah's business is conversations and media. So for someone to say she should give away the thing that she produces as a good that we all purchase, it's like somebody saying, well, I should just give free advice because all I've got to do is tell the person what to do. And so why wouldn't I just do that out of the kindness of my heart? It's not hard for me physically because all it is things I already know and I have to share it. But that's the thing that I am selling to people is my knowledge. So for her, my opinion is this is her product, is conversations. And even though it seems like it should be easy, it's what she does. And I wouldn't expect most people to think that people should just give away the things that they do just because they're good. I mean, that's kind of how our system works. I understand that she's a billionaire and she could give away this one thing or make it free. But this is the other. That's it. I know exactly. But if here's the dovetail.
You actually want to change things, Lee. You have to do these things.
But she started.
Lori's right. Well, this is okay, JT. You went right there for me already. So here's the thing. This one conversation, it wasn't even a full hour. It's not so mind blowing that it alone, as a single piece of media, is going to do anything. The point is, if you Google right now,
hell.
Oh my God!
Cut him off.
We're back.
No, I'm back. So I have it on Do Not Disturb, but it still took a call. I don't know why it did that. Okay. So if you Google GLP-1, Ozempic, all this stuff, the conversation that is on Oprah, even though it's behind a paywall, is flooded the internet with stories and articles and the conversation. So even though it may just have been it may have just been the spark, and yes, it was $35 to see the spark. The fire that is lit from that conversation is all free. So to me, I have no problem, and I saw the whole production. She has dozens of people, a huge operation. They all need to get paid. It's like, well,
pay them.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. But okay,
be in her pockets though. Why are people monitoring Oprah's billions? Those are her billions.
I just think if you want to change something as major as this, if you really want to start a conversation, if you really want a movement, you don't charge people.
But that's
keep in mind too. Keep in mind too that she's a billionaire on paper.
Yeah.
We don't know that she has $1 billion actually in her bank account. Her business is worth X amount. Her properties are worth X amount. And it's not the only thing she's trying to change. There's a whole, I had not paid any attention to Oprah Daily until this came up. So I have no idea what other episodes are on there. I didn't go watch anything else. I watched this one.
And you know what? Speaking of trying to change,
stuff, I'm assuming there's other things, the other narratives that want to be changed. And this is an important topic to us because we're part of this community. But there are other communities that I'm sure she's had conversations around that if they're all free, then like Lee was saying, how is she, how at what point do we expect her to stop giving away? And she, she's also been a big proponent of sort of the know your worth.
Yeah.
And don't give your worth away for free.
True. Good point, Lori.
Look,
I didn't think about it that way. Yeah. I mean, I still think it should be free, but still, it was an excellent point. Thank you for sharing.
And she's still in her pocket.
It is a really great point.
She's still gonna be in her pocket.
Should we listen to the next one?
Yeah,
we got a lot.
I think we should move on. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Okay, so now we're on. This is an interesting statistic.
In most countries, y'all.
True story.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Is that not like an oxymoron? Like I just can't. I can't even. It's like jumbo shrimp. I just was like, what?
Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me, you know what I mean? You said oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's the
I know.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just it's like
80s pop culture reference. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
it's so good for randoms. Just
that was a big one for me. And then she has another one about alcoholism.
Wow.
I appreciated that. I appreciated her in that moment.
This hit me.
And did you guys see Lee?
Something we can grab.
Did you see Lee in the audience when they went?
We saw Lee.
Yeah, we saw Lee.
Her husband was sitting right behind me.
Oh,
so
that
I know.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's why
I
totally missed it.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
I was just thinking he was handsome. I was like, oh, it's a handsome husband. I didn't see Lee.
He was handsome. I'm handsome too. Yeah. I thought you were saying I'm handsome, but then I'm realizing you meant
you were handsome.
He's handsome, but that's okay. That's okay.
Both of you all.
You overshadowed you just a little.
There's a lot to unpack. There was a lot to unpack in that clip.
Yeah,
right
there was. That was a juicy one. I did appreciate her saying, here's something like this. You know what I mean? We can accept that, can't we? And I gotta say, honestly, I don't think I always accepted that alcoholism was a disease. And it's pretty big in my family. I'm not gonna lie. That and like heart stuff. I'm hoping I can get ahead of that a little, but it's pretty big in my family. And I think that I kind of went the other way, and went the food route, but that same sort of feeling, that insatiable piece is something that I deal with all the time. I mean, not now, thank God, thank you, Jesus. But it's like, it's something that I feel like we all deal with. And I think it was a really interesting point, but I keep thinking about how that's still not really accepted. I don't think that everybody still thinks that alcoholism is a disease. I think I hear people say all the time, no, they're just a drunk. No, they're just an addict.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's the reward system that is like, just like binge eating.
It's dysfunctioned in your brain.
Yeah. Function of
but I didn't even buy it. Right. Like because I mean, I thought it was sort of like the same thing as me. And like, it's my fault. Like I legitimately thought for all of this, that I was a lazy piece of crap. And I'm going to tell you that I don't know one lazy person in our community. Not one of them are lazy people. And I'm not either. And that's insane. I was just sick. We're all just sick and we need medicine, So
it's anyway,
a total that was sort of my take. What about you? What about you, JT?
I mean, that was another mic drop moment, but I would love to know how, like what Lee would have to say, how the audience like reacted to that, because there were so many mic drop moments and that was one. And it was kind of like Oprah was like, well, remember when I said, and it wasn't just me, but remember when it was pretty much brought to the forefront that alcoholism is a disease. Let's look at obesity, and you need to look at it as a disease also. So it started the ball rolling, and I can appreciate that. I know alcoholism runs in my family too. And I was mainly a social drinker, and I don't, judge anyone, but I know now after being on MJ since January, I don't even really want it. Now, when I was on the plane to Europe, I did get the, pre-departure champagne. I did get that. Yeah. But it has to be something light now. It like can't be like liquor, I like can't do that anymore. But it's like just something light, and it's something how these medications really deal with your brain because it just got turned off. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't even, and I know everyone's different, but for me, and I think for those of us that have alcoholism that runs in our family, I think that we're maybe a little more sensitive to that. And it's like, okay, I really kind of want to stay away from that because I have never said this, but my friends were like, Jernine, you're starting to drink a lot, because I was drinking while I was home. So it was going from social to, oh, well, I'm just going to get a drink at home.
It's great.
When I look back at it,
Thank you, Lisa.
For me, there was a lot going on in my life at that time. And that was my way of coping. Totally. And so, I get it. I get it.
It did bother me a little when she was like, and I get it, because it's like it's a thing, right? But like when she was specifically talking about, oh, just because, you know, like with the difference between the two, it's like, but not everybody that's obese overeats, you know, like there are tons of people that struggle with obesity, and because maybe they suffer from PCOS or insulin resistance, they didn't touch on any of that, you know, that did bother me, but I also can understand that you can't cover all of that necessarily in one segment. So like I forgave
I think
it,
she's
but
going
it's
to do
still,
something else on it.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
Lori, you were going to say something?
Oh, hey,
you were about to say something. I was like, I want to hear what Lori says.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say, Lori?
I've forgotten now what I was going to say.
We'll come back. It'll come back to you.
I have something to say.
Okay, what is it?
You know, it's sort of, well, I don't know if this is what I was going to say before, but with this, you know, the idea of like the, not everybody that, you know, that some people, it is a matter of calories in, calories out. And for a lot of people, it's not. It's unfortunate that leads to all of the gym bros and all of the if I see one more nutrition coach out there talk about, you know, well, there's a small percentage of people that have a, you know, a physiological reason, that have some kind of metabolic issue, but it's a small fraction. No, it's not. It's millions.
Yes, totally. It is. Exactly. That's so true, Lori. Like I think it's mostly everybody. In terms of this,
it's like at least half, isn't it?
It's millions,
40% of America.
Of people.
This is
so the likelihood that coach has clients on their roster that they're going to tell, it's so easy. You just follow this plan, you know.
Totally.
The likelihood is the majority of their clients probably do have a metabolic thing, but they're out there telling them it's such a small percentage, you know. And it's the like, and it's the same thing sort of with alcoholism, with that you have the people who have a traumatic event in their life. And they've never had a problem with alcohol before. And all of a sudden it becomes an issue with it. Same thing that like COVID, lockdown, all this kind of stuff. You have people that gained their lockdown weight kind of thing and have never had a weight problem before. But, you know, and that it's almost like it's, you get into that moral failure kind of thing. And
totally.
You know, and to be told, you're doing everything wrong. You did this to yourself. It's all horrible. And then you're finally losing, and to be told you're not losing the right way, and you're taking the easy way out, when in every other aspect of our lives, it's working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
And that's rewarded, and that's seen as a good thing.
So true.
But in this circumstance,
it's not okay.
Yeah.
And I have like a lot of like feelings that I really think the reason that is, and I don't know if you guys know Dr. Toomer, she's been on her show a couple times, but she said that she feels like the worst people that judge like that are the born again obese. So somebody that's what she calls them. She says they used to be obese, they lost it all, and huzzah, now they're fine, and you can do it too because they did. And she's like, those are the worst shamers out there. Those are the worst ones. And they're like lazy excuses and stuff like that. And I think to myself, you are, I bet you, suffering from food noise. And I bet you are white knuckling and shaming yourself every day. This is about you, not about me. You know, and that's the only way I can push through those bitches. Sorry. I might get that taken.
That bothers me
it's on YouTube.
I think the thing that bothers me most about what everybody's calling a gym bro or a gym bra, whatever, is that I know two very successful ladies in the industry, and they owned a gym together, and both of them fell off the face of the earth for a while. And I was like, I wonder where they went.
Yeah.
Well, they destroyed their body doing what they were doing, because they were not taking in enough calories to do what they were doing to their body. And now they have completely abandoned that whole mindset and that whole theory, because they still do workout. They still do competitions. They still have amazing bodies, but they talk about, you can eat this, or you can eat this because it's like this. And they talk a lot about, like the cottage cheese movement, they do things like that. And so
the cottage cheese movement.
I love everything. So we're going you get cottage cheese and you get cottage cheese, and we're gonna make cottage cheese out of that too.
Everybody gets cottage cheese.
Everybody gets cottage cheese. How appropriate for an Oprah episode. Everybody gets
protein, but it's protein.
It was the first time I had ever been told, Brandy, just concentrate on your protein. We don't care about your calories. We don't care about this. We don't care about that. And if you could just maybe, your first goal is to make sure you get 30 minutes of walking in. And she's like, if you never do anything else, and I'm proud of you. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so watching that, because eventually it's going to catch up to them. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually that person will have to eat most of the words that they set out towards us. Literally.
Yeah. Like that's just what the data shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's
no, go. I was thinking of a podcast with.
I mean, and like Lori was saying, and Brandy, those are such great points. Statistically, most of those people will fail from those plans and those programs. Totally. Okay, maybe some of it sticks, but and I've seen in the chat some too, the majority of the people it won't work for, and the statistics back that up. Those do not work long term for most people. But also going back to that clip, the idea of obesity being a disease is for me, it was one of those aha moments just listening to it, because and it was about the topic of obesity being labeled as a disease, but also the idea of how we refer to people with obesity and with any other disease.
Yes.
And I may be jumping ahead on the clips, but this just resonated so much with me that an alcoholic is not an alcoholic; they are a person with alcoholism.
Yes.
And an autistic, I was a teacher, the student, they're not an autistic student. They're a student with autism. I'm a person with obesity. I'm not an obese patient. I'm a patient with obesity. So, the idea of transitioning, you wouldn't call a depressed person a depressed patient, or someone who's person's depressed.
The cancer one, right, Lee? Isn't that what
cancer? They talk about cancer.
Good one.
Like you have cancer. You aren't cancer.
You are not cancer.
And so that mindset shift. And there was actually they invited one, and this is a clip. If you watch the thing, there was a mom and a daughter, and the mom they brought in because the mom was very skeptical of this whole thing, because her daughter was a 20-some-year-old and was, but by the end of this show, that conversation specifically about obesity being a disease shifted her mindset during the taping of the show. And I just
very powerful to hear Oprah say that. It's very powerful.
So
I think for me, like when we talk about alcoholism and cancer, even as a former obese person, I have a very hard time connecting those things, especially cancer. And I don't know why. I'm just like, nope, you don't get it. In my head, I cannot in any way put them on the same level of playing field. I don't, because I don't know how. It's so hard for me because I see my obesity as my fault anyway, still until this day. You can sit here and because of my binge eating disorder, it was too many calories in. So I can't even see myself as being diseased. I try really hard, but I feel like I don't fit the criteria because I was constantly putting food in my mouth. Yes, when I was with people, it was little portions, but when I wasn't with people,
I got something for you, Brandy. Go ahead when you finish.
Yeah.
I just said I got something for you.
So I struggle with that, but I am going to fight like hell to make sure you know.
Yeah,
I can do it for everybody else, but I cannot do it for me.
I get it. Yeah.
So I went to Overeaters Anonymous a couple of years ago. I've did therapy. OA did give me work. I worked with the sponsor. I went through the 12 steps, and that's one thing that we talked about through all of our meetings, all of our sessions. Obesity, binge eating. It's a disease. We have a disease that we obsess. We're compulsive overeaters. It's a disease. So, and I'd never looked at it like that before. And so just reading the text, working with my sponsor, you had, if anybody is familiar with 12 step programs, you admit you're wrong. You admit, not you're wrong. You admit that you're a compulsive overeater. I'm not going to go through all the steps. You right your wrongs. You give your addiction to a higher power. But I would say maybe try picking up some literature if you sometime in the future from Overeaters Anonymous. It'll help you feel a little bit better about this whole process. So that's where it really
don't forget that you're shoving that like you said, you were shoving that food in your mouth. You're doing that because something's wrong with your body. Something's wrong with up here. Let's say a normal, and we'll say again, my mom always said normal is just a setting on the washing machine, right? But like a healthy average individual is not going to just sit down and eat an entire bag of chips or eat a 2-foot-long subs or something like that. Yeah. You had a biological dysfunction in your body that was telling your brain, keep shoving the food in your mouth. That's not, I think you're still like caught up on like the willpower thing. It was not a willpower thing. It wasn't because you just wanted to just keep shoving it in. Your brain was telling you to do it. And it's, that actually is the connection with alcoholism. My mom was an alcoholic my entire life. She had a lot of really traumatic things that went on. This clip affected me so hard. Because the things like when I was a kid, I never understood why my mom couldn't put the bottle down ever. Yeah. I always said, just put it down. Just stop drinking it. It's destroying your life. It's destroying my life. It's destroying my brother's life. And my family, my mother's family, always just treated her like something was wrong with her. And there was something wrong with her, but it wasn't a moral failing. There was nothing wrong here. There was nothing wrong in her heart. She didn't want to be addicted to alcohol. It was her brain, right? Her brain had a dysfunction that she needed to fix. And so like the analogy is totally there. It's blatant. It's on a big billboard for us all to see. It's the exact same thing that you were just talking about, Brandy, is that when you weren't around people, you couldn't stop putting the calories in your mouth. And it's because of that brain dysfunction. It's not here. It's here.
Literally like your body thinks you're starving. It doesn't know when it's like it doesn't know what's going to its next meal. So it's going to make sure you give it it's like squirrels, like shoving their mouths full of nuts.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like come over you when I was binging, when I'm not binging, I would feel a calm, just a wave of calm come over.
Exactly. But it would switch just like that to guilt and shame right after,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think it's really interesting too that there's a whole community of within the community of people that live in a larger body who are really offended by being told that obesity is a disease, that they're saying, if you call it a disease, you're saying that there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me, that, there, and I have those people comment a lot on TikToks and have had a lot of that I'm toxic because of trying to lose weight. And it's a very interesting dynamic of how the perception of this.
But see, like I think they concentrate on like the wrong, if that makes sense. Like there is something wrong, but it's something that's wrong within your body that you can't help. Right. Same with the alcoholism, same with like a drug addiction, same with a food addiction. It's something within your body that you cannot help without fixing that blood chemistry issue that's within your body.
And
you know, and like Kat pointed out about the reward center, it's the same thing,
right?
right? A drug addicted person, an alcohol addicted person, a food addicted person, they're all getting that serotonin hit to the reward center in their brain, right?
And
totally.
It was,
and that disease is a spectrum, you know, that you have you have things that are a disease that if you choose not to treat it, you know, it might be better to treat it, but you're going to be okay, at least, you know, for quite a while. Yeah. And then there's cancer. You don't treat it, you know, then you have this whole spectrum. And that if you don't want to, that I think that's that they're like I said, they're focusing on the wrong. And that if you're saying, you know what, I'm happy where I am and my blood work is all good. So why do I have to, you're telling me I have a disease. So that means I have to take treatment. What if I don't want to take treatment? And there's no one
you don't have to.
You have to.
It's your body.
And I think, I think there's some concern. They have some concern that it's going to become you must treat it. And our insurance companies don't want us to treat it even when we want to.
Right, exactly. Good news. They don't want you to have it. I think
we're a long way from that.
I think
and Seema touched on what you just said too. Seema said later on in the special, she said, we're now looking at obesity as a spectrum. Right. So there's some people that can do the calories in, calories out, and they do great and everything looks good and their numbers get better and they feel better in their body and this and that. But then you have the other end of the spectrum that doesn't work. Right. And they need the medication.
Dr. Toomer on an episode recently said, she always drops these gems, but and she was saying, listen, like, because I was at one time we talked and she was like, she's talking about she loves going to concerts and she loves Lizzo, and she was like, nobody can tell me Lizzo's not healthy. I see her singing and doing a flute and running back and forth all across the stage. She ain't even breathing hard. Like, she's got this. And then recently I said to her, because you know, because she had said before, like, health doesn't have a size. And then I was like, and I go, because health doesn't have a size. And she goes, but it has an expiration date. Like, that's the thing, is this does eventually go there. It may take a certain amount of time, but even though your numbers are great now, because I was always overweight or obese, I've always been obese. I can't even think of a time when I wasn't, honestly. And my numbers were always great, you know, until they weren't. That's the thing. And so I think if they're going to let their disease progress, that's their choice. It's their body. You know what I mean? And we should all be able to do what we want with our bodies. And I think that's fine, but they shouldn't come at us and tell us what we need to be doing with ours. You know, like, come on, like, 2 wrongs, you know, come on. Anyway. All right. We can play the next clip. Everybody cool? You got something, Lee? Go ahead.
Well, I had a few, I'm sorry. I had a couple thoughts. Okay. So for going back to Brandy's comment about cancer, and I don't remember what was in the clip versus what I saw, but they were very careful to say they're not equating. It's not cancer. It's not the same as obesity. It's just, it's more of the terminology that you're using when you're talking about people who have cancer and people who have obesity. So, I mean, I want to make sure that's clear. Nobody's trying to say the two are in any way similar. And then whether you want to call it a disease or not, I kind of understand the language issue, but you know, the other thing that I think Dr. Fatima was referring to it oftentimes was a dysregulation. And so if you prefer to say you have a dysregulation instead of disease, I guess that's fine, you know. And then on
that's usually not what I say. It goes along with I'm just effed up somewhere.
I'm effed up. But Lizzo comes up a lot. And here's the thing. Anytime you're looking at population-wide data, there's going to be people who don't fit that, you know. So she's doing great, and she is apparently otherwise very healthy. That doesn't mean that being that big as in a population-wide basis is going to be a good thing, or you know. And you walk a fine line, because if she's choosing to be in that body, that's great, and if I choose to be in a smaller body, that's also great. And so, you know, but you can't assume that I'm healthy in a smaller body or that she's unhealthy in a bigger body. And that's just, that was the whole thing with that conversation. But
that's such a good point, Lee. You can't make an assumption because someone's in a smaller body that they're well. It's not right.
And the terminology of disease, dysregulation, the bottom line is it's not your fault. It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
Yeah,
something that you
exactly.
fault.
And Brandy, I want to
Right.
say, like, that's kind of, I don't want you to think I was like coming at you, but I do want you to realize it's
People
not your
think
fault.
it though.
It's
important to say.
it is not
Yeah.
a willpower thing at all. I do not
Yeah.
think that you are the person that, like, I don't want you to think that you're the person that went and like, there's something wrong with me. I'm just totally messed up in the head. Like, we have all been there. We have all been like, the party went home at night and I'm standing at the counter shoving the leftovers into my face. Right
here.
Because I didn't eat. I ate like a bird
Oh,
while
yeah.
everybody was there. Right.
And I'm
I was
obsessing about what I'm gonna like
Yeah.
inhale when I get home. Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's like, don't and I don't want to get emotional, like keeping bringing up my mom, but my mom did that about her alcoholism. My mom always used to say, like, when something would go bad, she'd be like, I'm just effed up. I'm just a horrible human being. I'm a bad person and whatever. And my mom didn't work on like that mental aspect of things. So I challenge you to try to do that for yourself, because there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's not you. It's not a willpower thing. It's not because you don't want to do better.
I love you.
You can do better. Like, thank you. So now that you're working on yourself and you're on these medications, you can do better, right? But it's because you fix that dysregulation in your body, not because not because you were a bad person all of a sudden become a great person. It's because you fixed that
that's
issue
true.
up
Because
here.
if you had taken phentermine, right? That's an appetite suppression, does nothing, right? It just suppresses your appetite.
I still had the fixation.
And this one's working, right?
I don't think that I don't have something wrong with me, or that I need to, like, I don't beat myself up anymore. I used to. I used to beat myself up a lot, and I used to hate the former me. And it wasn't until probably about, I don't know, less than a year ago that I was like, a light came on and I was like, guess what? She's the one who did the work. She's the one who made the decision. She was the brave one. You owe her. Talking about myself in the third person.
Totally, Brandy. That's awesome.
You owe her to keep going. You owe her to, there's my sister. You owe her to keep going and doing this. And so I guess that's why my whole platform is about this, because if one person sees my story, they see my before, they see my now, they'll be like, oh my God. Or I can't talk about it as much on TikTok because of their BS, but I'm trying very hard to work on that anyway. But just, thank you, Lydia. I did not think that you were coming at me in any way. This is definitely a safe space. Kat, thank you so much for your suggestions. And let's roll the beat.
Okay.
The beat.
more. No, bean footage is a while away. We got a couple more clips for bean footage.
All right. Of weight set point. Okay.
So that is real.
That is completely real. The brain knows where it wants to be, and it's going to do whatever it can to bring you back to that.
That was a big one. That was a big one. Because that's what it's doing, right? The brain wants to get you back there, so it makes you want to go overeat. Yeah. It makes you want to binge.
I'm so glad.
It knows that's how you gain weight.
Something.
Because your body fights to get back to that point. Yep.
Your body wants to be in home. Your body was in that homeostasis for so long, right?
Yes.
And so your body's just like, get me back. Get me back. I don't like it down here. I want it right back up there where we felt great all the time.
Weight Watcher.
Right. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to it. It's coming in a couple clips.
Sorry.
It's coming.
But
it's coming.
But that's what
deep,
Dr.
right?
Fatima
that's truly where I was the most successful, honestly.
Talking about. Dr. Fatima, and even, I'm not sure if you all's doctors said this, mine did. She asked me the first week, she said, what has been your lowest weight in the past 7 to 10 years? And I said, and I had to think about it. And I was like, well, I think like 170, 165. You know what she told me? She said, you'll get to 160.
Yeah.
What? And she said, you'll get to 160. You might get a little lower. I didn't, at the time, she didn't say it was set point. But she could calculate that. And I had never heard that. And I was like, what does that mean?
It just blew my mind. I just made a connection. Oh my God.
Yeah. And And now that's why we say just keep going. Even when you get discouraged, just keep going, because now what she said at the beginning is starting to click. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah,
now
exactly,
I
Rachel.
see why I was going between 158 and 160, where I was just like teetering.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, hot darn it, she was right. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that sometimes. Sometimes they're right.
know.
You know,
I talk to people a lot about set point.
Fat source. Yeah.
Like when people are frustrated about hitting a really hard stall, and I always ask,
my life on the stall.
Were you ever exactly that weight for a long period of time? Ever in your life? Like if you're like, oh, I'm at 210, I can't get past 210. I've been at 210 for 3 months. And I always say, were you ever at 210 for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of your life? And they'll go, well, yeah, right about that, 210, 215-ish. That's a set point. Your body remembers that. Your body remembers that was homeostasis for a long time.
And that you were okay. And that you were okay.
That's right.
And we know we can survive right here.
Right
here. Realize that keeping us like that is making it worse in the future. It doesn't care, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is controversial. This is controversial. The set point stuff. I see lots of videos back and forth, especially with the calorie counting folks, because they're like, calories in, calories out. It doesn't matter. There's no set points. There's no anything. You just need to eat less and move more, or and so it's like I think people get a lot of mixed messages. I was really glad to hear this, that, she was like very, very matter of fact about it too. Like, nope, really? It's totally real.
It's a thing.
And I was like, oh, all right, nice. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Well, and I loved that Dr. Fatima was so sciencey about every answer she gave. She would say how she, say what she knew as a professional that she is, and then use the science to back it up.
Right.
Like
peer reviewed and everything. I'm just kidding.
Well, she actually is
what
peer reviewed.
As I'm saying,
she's amazing.
Reviewed. I was being facetious.
Oh,
yeah. She's amazing. But yeah, she had all the science for it.
My shero, honey.
She is.
She's awesome.
Dr. Fatima is my shero. If she ever comes on one of my flights, I'm totally fanning out. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
She's amazing.
Instant upgrade.
Isn't it funny, like how we used to hate doctors and now we have some that we just like feel so strongly about?
I
used to hate them.
Like I would say 180. Like I just have a new appreciation. I know that there's doctors out there that are really very caring people, right?
Yeah.
Love what they do. Very passionate. Dr. Fatima is definitely like the passion.
We need her on the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
think she would do it. I think she would do it.
You do? Cool.
I may be meeting her pretty soon.
Whoop.
Put it out there.
Look.
Right. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else before the next clip? Nothing else yet? We got more. Here it comes.
Okay. I'm ready. Let's go.
30% of people stay on it at 1 year.
Why?
Well, we are learning. It probably has to do with cost, access. It has to do with side effects, and maybe people aren't having enough support. Maybe people don't know that it might be something that you have to be on long term.
Mm-hmm.
And
Lee again. More Lee.
Lee.
They loved you. The camera loved you, Lee.
I know, but
Always there.
I don't know. This whole thing has been so crazy that I was on that show. I don't even know. That's a whole nother topic, but I didn't even know I was in that clip. I just saw myself and I was like, oh shoot, that's me.
They love
me. But I mean, this is, the cost she mentions. It's like, that is a huge reason people come off. And
100% is the friggin' cost. Yes.
It's like I love how much people love on Mounjaro and wegovy and all the things, but part of me hates that Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are getting some credit for being good because they've developed these medicines, because these are not particularly good companies. So as far as maybe they're good companies, but
opioid crisis.
How about talking about Oprah giving out a show for free? How about reducing the cost because you're saving billions of lives potentially with this medicine? Well, you can bet your bottom. They are not going to do that, are they?
We roast them just as hard. We roast them just as hard.
Yeah.
We do roast them. But I just was like, man, when she said cost, I was like, Oh man, these companies, because I just met with a friend up in Canada, and she can get it for like $250 or something. I can't remember what she said, but like
That's
it
about
was
right.
like what we be paying for at a compound. That's what they're getting the name brand stuff for. And why? I'm literally like just south of the border from her. It's because the companies can charge here more, and so they do. Of course they do.
They allow them
anyway.
to.
But that's
so we're paying for the rest of the world.
The government.
You raising your hand for Brandy? Are you
right? So I would like to piggyback off of what he just said with Canada.
Yeah.
My insurance gets my Ozempic from a Canadian pharmacy.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So
yeah, I remember you posted about that.
Right. So Partners Health Alliance is a company that works with my PB, I don't know, my pharmacy benefits, blah blah blah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So because I had a high A1C, I was never diagnosed type 2, but because I had the high A1C, my Partners Health Group Alliance calls them up and says, hey, we're going to send you this 3-month prescription, mail this to Brandy. So they mail me, and they give it to me at $0 copay because they get it at such a reduced cost. Isn't that horrible?
That's crazy.
Like, I mean, great for me, but
$225 for Judy.
Yeah, and somebody just pointed out in the chats that Eli Lilly isn't a bad employer, and I didn't mean to say that they were not a good employer. I'm saying they are a profit-driven company, and their motives are not pure. Maybe they're a good employer, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Brandy.
I'm not sure anybody's.
No, it's okay.
I don't think any multi-billion-dollar company is like a pure arm. I don't but that's just me.
I'm going to multi-billion status.
I'm going to tell you, I believe the $25 coupon was not a mistake. It was very calculated.
Yes.
They knew exactly what they were doing. 100%. They knew everybody and their mother was going to want this drug. Get them hooked on it.
And then they'd have real world data for obesity.
Has anybody never watched anything about what is that?
A lot of money, Rachel. Yes.
What did she say?
Our health or lack thereof.
I believe it was truly calculated. They knew exactly what they were doing. They had the funding.
I think what you're talking about, Brandy, is OxyContin. When they flooded the market with OxyContin and everybody got hooked on OxyContin, and they made billions and billions and billions of dollars off of that medication. And then there's an addiction problem,
but we're not in addict mode. But I mean, I'm not addict. But anyways, but my point is that I'd do some sketchy shit to get my medication. I wasn't getting it the way that I was. Like,
what? I just wanted to say, when we talked about the cost, and you all probably saw this, and we talked about this briefly. Australia pretty much told Eli Lilly, go and find somebody else to do it, or in the words of those of us that were born in the 70s and early 80s, F around and find out. Because let me tell you something, what you're not going to do is come to Australia and have these inflated prices for Mounjaro. Australia told Eli Lilly, oh, you're going to need to lower your price if you want to sell Mounjaro in Australia.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think enough people are talking about that, because pretty much the government said, get it together. You're not coming here. And our government, and I'm not government shaming, I'm just saying
we don't have a government like that stands up for us like that.
They're not going to stand up to that because you have the lobbyists that are giving our, lawmakers free trips,
money,
free cars, So they're greasing the palms.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
then
miracle.
You
it's miracle.
The PBMs who get all of these kickbacks legally. They get them legally through legislation. So if you go back about 10 years, and I'm just a history nut, but it's so interesting. But I love what Australia did. Australia said, no, you're not coming in here until you lower the price of this medication.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, plenty of countries have done that for sure.
And then there's
go ahead.
That's kind of how I feel about No, I won't. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to let it go.
Okay. Lori, what you got?
Well, then you've got the issue of Ozempic, Wegovy, same medication. Why does Wegovy cost more?
Yeah.
The only thing different, and I know you get into, the pen is different. So make
that's not why
expensive method of delivering it. Put it in a vial, like Mounjaro was gotten approval for.
Why? It's because from a marketing standpoint, they would look evil if they were charging diabetics more, but they don't look evil when they're charging obese people more money. That's why.
Except for we're going to be.
But they did try to gouge diabetics with their insulin prices. These same companies.
Look,
and they got in big trouble for that. The insulin was a ridiculous markup for nothing more than profit.
And they also
but anyway, sorry.
Look,
they also,
look, thank you, Lee, because Eli Lilly got held to the fire for that. And Eli Lilly has been charging for insulin that so many people
actually do need to live.
You need that to live, because unfortunately I'm a type 2 diabetic. I have type 2 diabetes. It sucks. It sucks. I'm saying that right now. It sucks big time. I have diabetic neuropathy. This disease, and by no means am I saying feel sorry for me or anything. No.
Yeah.
But if you can put a face to it, it's affecting every organ in my body. Every organ. Because I have type 2 diabetes and obesity, I have a higher chance for getting stomach paralysis, even without a GLP-1.
Yeah.
And Kat and Kim and Lydia see me at my worst.
Yeah.
And it's bad, y'all.
We do.
And then on top of obesity. And one thing is that I applaud each and every person in the live chat, each and every person here on the panel, for taking a stand for your health, because so many times we have been shamed, and it's like, oh, there is nothing wrong with you. Oh, you just need to push the plate away. That's what I was told. You just need to push the plate away.
Push the plate away.
My brother-in-law told me that a doctor actually told him that. Just
sure. I've had.
Well, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Because when I was growing up, I was told to clean my plate. And then all of a sudden,
starving children in China.
So I was told both. It just depended on who was talking. One person would say, you need to clean your plate. And then the next person would say, well, if you want to lose weight, you just need to stop doing this exercise.
Yeah.
Right. Stop shoveling the food in your mouth. So it would always just depend on who was talking. Right.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Everybody get in a safe place. We're about to go Weight Watchers. People in the chat. People in the room.
Everybody get ready.
Safe place.
Weight Watchers.
They did cut some stuff.
Oh boy, I can't wait to hear.
Spill the tea, Lee. Spill the tea.
You gonna spill the tea, JT?
Lee's
in charge of the tea in this episode.
No.
Look, spill it.
Yeah.
No, I want to see.
I want to say one thing.
I
want to say one thing before I go on about JT. So, what she was just saying. So, when we had Dr. Albert on the finale of the show, right, obesity expert, right? I think we all know, right? It's not just in TikTok. He's very well known and respected in his field. Speaks all the things. So, he was specifically talking about if we considered, because the fact that she has type 2, he was like, it's organ failure. It's organ failure. That's what's actually happening to her. Okay. So she needs medicine because her organ is failing. And all of us that are on that insulin resistant spectrum, our organs are failing. We are headed in that direction. And that term, even though that's exactly what it is, people aren't using that. And so they're not taking it as a priority to address it before it gets there. Right. And I think that's just something we need a clip about that, Lydia. I think was just something we have to really consider. Like, that's some language we may need to start changing, and no one's going to change it but us. So but it's a fact. I mean, and we see JT go through a lot, So we don't want that. And we don't want it for her either. So let's try to help more people.
No, you don't want it.
I want it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
okay, try not to cry, but
Oh,
I
dear
was, I mean, my dad has type 2 diabetes,
God.
and for you to see your father look at another person, another human being who happens to be a doctor, and tell them that it's okay for you to chop half my leg off. And sign the papers that your dad is letting someone cut their leg off because of this disease. And it's like, and I can avoid that, right? I don't have to. And there's a medicine now that immediately reversed the A1C, which is about to go into diabetic territory. And anytime someone is like, you should just try something else first. I was like, I was out of time, and there's something there. There's something here that can help me avoid that, you know, because type 2 diabetes, this was my point. Type 2 diabetes is, you don't want to fuck with it, you know?
No,
Sorry.
you don't.
Yeah.
No,
I think they should just run out in traffic before they try me with that bullshit.
Well, and this is what I always say to those people that are like, that come into lives and they're like, well, you're taking this and you're not even a diabetic. And I'm like, you're right. I don't want to be. I have friends, I have family that are type 2 diabetics. I don't want to be there. I was
dad's
on
a diabetic.
delay.
It's horrible.
I don't want to arrive at that destination. Not a chance in hell do I want to be there.
And like people like JT, like our diabetic friends in the community, they don't want that for us either. You know?
Right, right.
Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because she was vulnerable and I just want to make sure everybody knew. So.
Yeah.
Aww.
Okay. Ready? Safe space. Got it?
Okay, brace.
Understanding if they're one of those people living in a larger body who has been struggling with the genetic, biological, environmental underpinnings of obesity. And so we're now able to do that. We're able to provide a broader solution set. And that's important to address this stigma because, as you mentioned with alcoholism, heart health is a great example, right? If you are suffering from high cholesterol or hypertension, you still have to have lifestyle intervention, right? You should quit smoking, you should eat better, you should move more. But for some, you need a statin medication, right? You need an ACE inhibitor. That doesn't mean you don't also do lifestyle intervention, but it's an and. And so we want to be clear about that and be the first to say where we got it wrong and where we can do better so that the people who need access to need to go out and ask for help, especially when they've been stigmatized even by doctors in cases, blamed and shamed, that they can look to solutions, and we want to be part of that solution.
And also,
I was like looking at Oprah's face.
Is that grumbling noise? I think I heard a grumbling noise from Kim over there.
You know?
That cut me.
Oh my gosh.
That was
so one of the other things that she talked about earlier on in the episode was that she feels, because like she's only been the CEO for a year, right? This lady didn't start Weight Watchers. She hasn't even been around 5-10 years. She's been here a year. Right. And so she's like coming in and she said at the very beginning of the episode, we didn't clip this one. She said, we introduced a stigma. We were trying to help people and really we introduced a stigma. And so now we see this is a spectrum. There is a wide range of people that are obese or overweight, and it's for a variety of different reasons. It is not just
blue
because
points and the red
yes,
points.
Yes. And that's the blue points and the red points is what we're going to talk about next. That's the next.
I heard
clip,
Oprah, like when she said that, I was hearing Oprah saying in the back of her mind, the red points and the blue points.
Well, because how she said it, Oprah's like,
I love it.
You take the blue points and you take. Why don't we go ahead and run that one?
Let's run it.
Yeah, blue points and the green points and the red point, and that, you know, and as we know, as a member of the board, the blue points and the green points and all those points, if you are not meticulous with the points, you end up putting the weight back on. So now, where is Weight Watchers in this conversation?
Well, I'll start by saying, you know, I joined as CEO last year, but my history with Weight Watchers began in 2013 as a member. I gained 60 pounds after having my first child. And even though I know how to live healthy habits, my mom, who's here, has her PhD in food science. She's a registered dietitian. So I know how to live healthy habits, and I struggled. And Weight Watchers helped me because I'm not an adipose carrier, right? And so we introduced this category almost 60 years ago, but unknowingly, we introduced the shame also for people who diet and exercise alone was not enough. And Dr. Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. We know better now. So we need to be the first to approach this with authenticity and say, weight is a spectrum. And Weight Watchers, as the number one doctor recommended program, it worked for some, like me, but not all. And for those people, we don't want them to internalize that as a moral failing. Obesity is not a moral failing. It's a chronic relapsing condition.
So,
dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
I
have so many like crashes of emotion and trauma in that clip. Yeah. You go first, JT. What you got? Go ahead.
All I have to say is from someone who used to be on Weight Watchers, but like when I was maybe about 10, 15 years ago, because someone said that it would work. At that point, I was starting to put on some pounds and I just didn't find it sustainable. I actually had an interview with Bloomberg in this past spring, and they wanted to know my experience with Weight Watchers. And I just told them it wasn't extensive, but all I wanted to say is this, is if you were watching those clips, whenever the CEO of Weight Watchers spoke, it felt so awkward to me. She almost seemed like she was the odd man out. Did you see?
Well, she was. She was the only one that wasn't like a medical professional.
She was. See that? Yeah. Did you see that expression that Oprah was giving her when she was talking about
Oprah? Dr. Fatima was just kind of like this. And I saw her trying to make amends, but at the same token, I don't trust her. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I accepted her apology.
You did, Brandy?
She has a tough job.
You did, Brandy. Tell us more, Brandy.
She didn't do it. She didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel too. She's the man that's now in the position that has to make it better, right? That has to look at all the things they did for so long and now do better.
So I was with Sequence. Sequence was the first telehealth provider that I used. Sequence helped me. Okay. And I will always I'll be a fan. I was super upset. I was super upset with the merger in Weight Watchers and Sequence because of everything that I had gone through with Weight Watchers. And Weight Watchers worked for a while. I lost a lot of weight. And that SEMA talking was the pivotal moment for me in this whole Oprah show. It was there are 2 points in there that really grabbed me. And she was one of them because she didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I am so glad that anybody moving forward never has to go through what anybody prior years had to go through again with Weight Watchers. I hope and pray she meant everything that she said. And I felt like it was genuine. So that's where I am with it.
Yeah.
And I'm giving her major props because she knows the difference and she's saying the difference. She said that out loud. She did not just write it down and put it in some kind of article that nobody's going to read. She said it out loud on Oprah's stage. So
it was courageous. Yeah.
She took somebody else's problem and said something profound about it and is trying to sort of turn that page. Yeah.
Yes. So I commend her. And if I could have, I wanted to bum rush the stage and give her a hug and cry.
She did look uncomfortable. Yeah.
She did.
She was she was very uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, that body language, and I'm not saying it was right, but that body language towards her was like
Oprah's body language. I agree.
Yeah, I did love Oprah's body language. That kind of just made it all sing.
But I think that now, mind you, I have never been with Sequence. I don't plan on going with them.
Yeah.
But I said, and this is what I said, this is what I told Kim and Kat.
Agree.
When the merger happened, I said, did you see, have you all seen the clips? And I'm not trying to dog anybody. This is just my opinion. Have you all seen the clips where the CFO of the company gave an interview on MSNBC about 3 days after the merger? And I said, Kim, did you see that interview? I'm like, did anyone else pick up on that but me? I said, you notice how he said, oh yeah, he talked about all of the stuff with Weight Watchers, 1, 2, 3. And then the last point was semaglutide. I said, watch, they are going to take you through every point, every because now they're involved in wellness programs that you kind of have to jump through hoops for to try to get the medication. And it's not everyone, but they are on some plans. And I'm not villainizing them. I'm just speaking the facts. So because you have companies that don't want to cover these meds, and it's different companies on top of Sequence and Weight Watchers that are now saying, oh, well, let's like try to treat it with diet. Now, mind you, a portion of that is true, but my gut feeling, and it's hardly ever wrong. I'm hardly ever wrong.
Right. You got a good gut. I always tell you that. Yeah.
And I said, you watch. They're going to make you jump through hoops. And one of my girlfriends, my best girlfriend, who is one of my sorority sisters, we were on the same line. And she surprised me and said, guess what? Guess what? And when she told me she went through Sequence and she told me what happened, I said, wait a minute, what? Look, what?
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah.
I almost jumped through that daggone phone. Do you hear me? I almost jumped through the phone.
I know you were really upset.
Said, look. And I don't get mad. It takes a lot for me to get perturbed. But, and this was just her experience. But I said, you should not have had to go through that.
Yeah.
And I said, that's bull S. And I called it. And she said, well, I didn't know. And you know how I feel about people taking advantage of people.
Like being taken advantage of,
Yeah, you don't like that.
Yeah. And I won't say what her experience was. And everyone has a different experience. But I promise you, they are going to make you go through hoops to get the medication. And all they talk about is semaglutide. They don't talk about tirzepatide. They only talk about a Novo Nordisk product. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, and I hear you. I have my own feelings on the way things changed with Sequence as soon as the acquisition, and it had really nothing to do with nutrition part of it. Honestly, it was where it got very, very money grabby. Like they would not, they would not do a 3-month prescription for me unless I paid them $300. Like it got really weird. My $99 all of a sudden started climbing up to here. But if you have not gone it, so Summer the dietitian, I do follow her. I don't always agree with everything that she says, and that's the great thing about being friends is you don't always have to agree with people, right?
Totally.
She duetted a video today, and she's been talking quite significantly about the Oprah special, and she's not all on board with Oprah. She's not all, and she works for the company, and it's not just about her not liking Oprah. It's the whole process. But she duetted a video today about the change that, and like what Oprah said about the whole alcoholism and things of that nature, and how this medication does about the same thing as what it would do for alcoholism. Where they're constantly thinking about alcoholism. We're constantly thinking about that chocolate bar that we ate a piece of. We set it aside and we'll come back to it later, but we can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
They have been doing, I feel like she and this woman have been doing a really good positive spin on the things that maybe they don't like at all, but they're finding bits and pieces of what they do like. And that's what I'm trying to do with the Weight Watchers and the Sequence merger, even though I don't have anything to do with them anymore. I'm trying to find the positive for the people that are still there and they have no other option.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so this is one I'm going to run my mouth about the most, y'all. So
look,
I've been waiting for it this whole time.
Just get in a comfortable place. Just everybody just relax. All right.
Take your lunch.
She said, everybody just relax. Everybody
get in a safe place. Look. All right. So I I would tell you that because I have a tremendous amount of trauma around Weight Watchers and around when you would wait in, speculating. This is more like a rant. But when you are young and legitimately my first diet was Weight Watchers. My mom I was obese. I had a binge eating disorder. I have a lot of grace for my mother. I think she was just trying to help. My mom's been dealing with 15, 20 pounds her whole life, and I was obviously way more than that. And it just continued to get worse. And I think she just wanted me to snap out of it. And it was all those things that JT talked about earlier about how kind of people handled you with those words when you were growing up in like in certain time frames, but I remember when we would go do weigh-ins, if you gained, you know what I mean? Or if you were the same, the first question was, what did you do different? And it was automatically put as at your fault. And as a young girl,
you did something wrong. Yeah.
That messed me up. And the fact that they continued to progress by trying to recruit and get young girls on that platform to help them with their points and get them addicted and tied to diet culture to where they're not going to know how to eat without points. And they are then a Weight Watchers customer for life. Really makes me hate them.
You're right. They were still doing that a couple years ago. Like Weight
they
Watchers
were
for
still
kids, bring your parents.
Yes. Because then you have created someone at a young age, an impressionable age, that will always be a customer. Okay. Now, is that a brilliant marketing strategy? Yes. Is it freaking evil? Yes, it is. And it was really hard not to say the F word. It was really, but I want ads on this episode. So it was really difficult to say that.
Can you edit out my F word? Can you edit mine out?
We'll see. Well, let's just see how. Let's just see.
We'll just go with it for now.
Sometimes if it's just one, it'll be fine. We'll see.
Sorry.
It was hard, but I held it back. So I will tell you that for me, in that moment, well, all of this happened with Sequence. I exploded. I don't know if you guys remember. I just freaking exploded.
I remember your rant video.
That's when I just got started. That's when I just got started on TikTok.
Yeah,
you just going crazy.
I flipped it. And I think it's because in my mind, so I come from tech startups, guys. What they did was they thought they were getting like a tech startup. It's a healthcare company. It is a medical practice that cares for patients. It's not customers, it's patients. This is a very different thing than acquiring a company that has customers. You acquire someone that has patients that are being cared for, a marginalized community. Okay. So when it happened, all of a sudden, these two philosophies of eat less, move more, it's your fault, and actually something's not going on right with you, it's not your fault. Let's take care of the medical thing, and then we'll solve the problem with the food once the medical thing is going, right? Two different philosophies merging, and now diet culture, which, all of us, at least doing this for a long time, trauma, all the things, right, is mixing with my healthcare. So that in general, I was mad for people. And y'all, I rarely get upset for someone else and rant about it. Those people kind of drive me nuts, but I did. I was so upset, but it was because of my stuff, right? It was my trigger. It was my problem. It was my issues. And
that little girl in you woke up and was that like, little girl don't do that to somebody else.
No, I was like, and I'm not having it. And so that whole thing for me, when that happened, was really traumatic. And when one of the doctors came out and said, we are influencing Weight Watchers, they're not influencing us, I was like, you have sold your soul to the devil. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. Go get PR training. Just stuff like that. Those things really, really upset me. But eventually I just kind of just let it go. And then I kept hearing more about how they were pushing Weight Watchers because we all knew they were going to do that. Of course they are. They merged. It's one now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like they're running independently alongside, which sometimes happen in tech. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. So the whole thing really upset me. And I feel like over time, I just kind of got over it because there were other options. People were able to move on. I have some friends that are still at Sequence, even though they hate the whole Weight Watchers thing, because the care is still good, right? The care for many of them. And they have not been able to find, especially in certain states, find equal care. So they're kind of stuck there, but they're also like trying to like you said, focus on the positives. So there's that, right? So when she comes in and she apologizes, I was appreciative of that because one of the things after all of my rants, someone said in a comment was, what if they just apologize? I was like, they're never going to apologize.
They did.
You know what I mean? And that's exactly what she did. Now, it's easier to accept an apology for someone who hasn't been a part of the problem. right? She's been trying to fix the problem.
100%.
So it's easier from a PR marketing perspective. It's much easier to accept that and get in a place to receive it when it's someone that wasn't responsible, but is being accountable, right? That is a very powerful thing in any kind of messaging. It's a big deal. I didn't feel the things I hoped to feel when she said that. And it's because I know that game. But I did think she was sincere.
I did. I
did think she was sincere, you know? And I did like how Oprah wasn't all like, ooh, and like Weight Watchers. And she was very much like points in the body language. She was like, I don't have adipose. And Oprah was like, you know, like I appreciated those things from Oprah because it wasn't like she was, I don't know, pandering, you know, like it wasn't,
she wasn't fluffing it because Seema is Weight Watchers and she's a member of the board. She wasn't fluffing it for her.
Yeah. And I think Oprah, you know, there may have been a certain amount of her that in this clip, in this episode, that she kind of came in maybe not knowing a lot and wanted to hear from the different doctors, right?
So
but part of me, go ahead, Brandy. What's up?
I just want to ask one question.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and maybe I'm being a jerk, but if Weight Watchers and Sequence can move together for the money in the obesity community and it's not accepted, why is Oprah's $35 accepted?
Yes.
I just want to know.
I don't accept either one of them. They all kiss my butt.
Because it's the same to me. It's the same to me.
Yeah. No.
Money's money.
Yeah.
Pocketbooks are pocketbooks. It's the
it
same
is.
to me.
Yeah, it's fair. No, you're not being a jerk. It's I invite people here. Everybody that's here, I know, has a varying opinion, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here. So I would just say, my whole point, like with Oprah charging for this episode or charging to be able to get people to become a part of it, it's the same kind of thing with Weight Watchers and getting your kids hooked early. Like you're getting them to pay for a year subscription to your service to be able to hear the one thing that they want to hear. And while I can totally understand that and appreciate that in any other circumstance, with a marginalized community that she has been a part of, that she's been trying to solve for 50 years, 40 years, whatever it's been so far, I think she could have done better. I think she could have done better. And that's all I'm saying. She could have made the one episode something that was free for everybody or available on other streaming platforms, something. It's available. It was an option and she didn't take it. And I think that was a miss. And I'm always going to think that. But I also love Oprah. So we can stick with that. I still also love Oprah. Legitimately, one of the reasons that I am who I am is because of things I learned from Oprah, because I was obsessed with her show. I thought she was fabulous. One of the things she used to always say, and I remember this because it's literally part of who I am. That show questioned everything. And I, as a human, question everything. And I learned it there. So I very much have these feelings about her that it's impossible for me not to like her. She's a core memory, like she's a part of who I am. I have this show and do this because of Oprah. So it's impossible for me to ever think that she's bad. But she screwed up on that one and she shouldn't have charged for it. It's a mistake. It was a miss. She could have done more for the community by not doing it. But I still love her,
Yeah, I want to come back. I don't want to I appreciate your thoughts on that, Kim and Brandy. I want to come back to the Weight Watchers thing and not the overcharging thing for a second. So
jeez, Brandy.
Well, I feel like I feel like there's so many things that we could talk about with the Weight Watchers stuff. So I also, Seema seemed like a nice person, and in her body language, in the studio and in the shooting, she did seem genuine. She seemed very uncomfortable. What I couldn't really get a read on was, is she uncomfortable because of her own pride, that she doesn't really want to be saying these things because she's a true believer in Weight Watchers? Or is she feeling bad for what Weight Watchers has done for people, and so she feels I couldn't quite get a read. Like, I try and read too many layers into people's body language.
You couldn't
but
read
she seemed genuinely not emotional, but it was hard for her to get those words out a little bit. And I also don't know if it was because she was sitting too people away from somebody who owns a big part of the company she's the CEO of.
Yeah.
Right.
She was uncomfortable.
Not that much. It's like 8%. It's not that
much.
I think it sounds like 8% carefully. So she had to be very careful with her words. Yeah. And then, but the other thing and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, okay? So I'm going to use a term that just is meant to imagine a thing. But even though she's the CEO, she's the president of a huge organization that goes down to the neighborhood communities throughout the country. So she has a deep state issue. Even if she is genuine about it, the structure of Weight Watchers and the infrastructure down to the little Weight Watchers shop around the corner is built around this thing that has
what
been
she's
really
gonna
bad.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, and so her ability to change the mindset within the whole infrastructure of that company that's been built up under this paradigm that is now being questioned, she has her hands full. And that's part of it too, because she's also, the other part of why she's uncomfortable is because she knows that all those people down to the street corner are going to hear what she has to say. So she has to not be undermining the things they've been telling people for decades and make them all feel like they want to quit. And so it's just like such a tightrope. But some of the stuff that wasn't, and it maybe was in the episode that aired, or I missed it. Oh, Lori's back.
Yeah, Lori's aliens
again.
Is she was really the instigator, Oprah was, of getting into the GLP-1 and embracing the obesity as a disease. No, she said it. So it must not have been in the episode. Yeah, but she insisted that they get this moving.
Beauty of
so the impetus for Weight Watchers moving into this space at least came in some part from Oprah herself.
From Oprah.
Yeah.
But,
and I want to touch on what you said too about the CEO is like, so I said this last week in our live, put your foot in that person's shoes. Like, Lee, you're a professional. If you walked into a courtroom and you picked up a case that a lawyer had just completely fudged, right? And you're putting your foot in that lawyer's shoe, you would be in a very uncomfortable place too. So it's not just all about body language and that she felt sort of like, out educationalized or whatever, because everybody else has this big medical education that she doesn't have, that she's mopping up this mess that somebody else has made. Like, we would all feel very uncomfortable too. Sure. No matter the case.
Is she a doctor? Is Seema? I thought Seema was a doctor.
Seema's in the tech space. She's a very smart.
Okay.
She mentioned her mother was a PhD in food science. Yes.
Yeah. That's it. That's
so.
Yeah.
So,
and her brother's a doctor.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, that's a good point about.
That is a good point, Lydia. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to think. I lost my train of thought, but I don't know. And I take over cases from lawyers who screw things up. So I think that might be that's a pretty good take, that it could have been that too. So there's a lot of things.
Yeah. I owe that point to my sister. My sister gave me that point. Yeah.
Nice.
Perspectives are important.
I'm not saying that like she felt uncomfortable maybe because she was quote unquote like not as educated. No. That right there is an assumption. It was just that you couldn't.
How could you not? You're kind of the villain in the room. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
it was awkward. Like,
and it's not that she is, but
that.
She's sitting in the seat of the villain of the room, and I think she handled her pretty well, actually.
No, I was
she knew her place.
Well, but she knew her place. You could tell.
No, it was weird with the group up there. There was 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and Oprah in the middle, and she was outsider. I mean, in every way.
She was the odd man out. She was the odd man out. She was sitting in Whoville, and she was the Grinch, right? She's surrounded by all the Who's.
And she wasn't even.
And she's the Grinch. She's the Grinch that showed up. Well, I mean, okay, Weight Watchers was the Grinch that showed up to the party, right?
Yeah.
And so she was the figurehead of that.
The food
being
party.
a figurehead and having the foot in that Grinch shoe is really hard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Any of us would have been super awkward and had really weird body language. Any of us would have been.
And if we don't, and if we didn't, then you should consider what kind of person we are. Like, if we were chill in that situation, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of like that she was a little uncomfortable.
She handled herself well.
I did.
She did handle herself well. And I like what she had to say too. A lot of the stuff she had to say was good. But then the things turned a little bit and I think this is at the end of the actual airing the episode itself was she started talking about the new plans. So, the apologizing and, hey, we got it wrong. And, hey, obesity is a disease and all this stuff. I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing coming from the Weight Watchers CEO. Yeah. But then at the end, she wrapped it up with, and we're going to have a new plan specifically for those people. And that word plan, that word plan immediately
it's a triggering word. It triggered everybody.
Diet. There's no way this isn't ever going to be a diet.
I was like, there we go. All right.
Yeah. And that's the thing we have to think about too. I think also, and I don't know if you guys had this experience, but the whole idea of, and I had y'all, when I was growing up, there was a book. There was no app. When you went out with your girls or when your friends, you had the binder. Book. And the othering of that, when you're a child or even when you're getting older, that is awful. Because you're that fat girl in the room with a friggin' book. And that was awful for me, Can
I tell you, I ate so much Applebee's at lunch because Applebee's, do you remember they had
Applebee's was in the book?
Yes, they were.
The points were on the menu. The points were right there on the menu.
On their menu. Because then I didn't have to sit with my stupid book and be like, what can I have for lunch today? I couldn't even go to my lunch with my girlfriends.
You have to plan ahead and
I had to plan
how can you enjoy the moment of your life?
Applebee's in business.
So many moments.
So when I did that, I mean, I was in advertising. I went out to lunch with clients and stuff. So I had to sit in my car and figure out what I was going to eat before I went in. And I'd be like, no, I don't need a menu. I know what I need or what I want. And that was embarrassing.
Yeah. It's hard, especially when I think it's really difficult.
Do you find, Brandy, that you still do that? Brandy, do you like go out with your girlfriends now and you'll pull up the menu online and look at it? Is that a habit that carried over?
No, because now I've like Weight Watchers, I don't even think about them anymore until these kind of conversations come up because they are irrelevant in my life anymore because I've learned through all this trauma. And that's part of the reason why I left Sequence. I'm not going to lie, but all of this trauma is behind me on that part. So now I go and I share food with people. And that makes me feel good. I eat what I want to have, but we share because then we can camaraderie, that's how it works.
Yeah. I just don't like the idea. Lori has to say. Yeah, Lori, what you think?
I had a very hard time with the Sequence and Weight Watchers merger too, because Weight Watchers enabled my binge eating disorder.
Same season.
I could gain the
corn.
As long as it's 0 points, I can have all of it.
Corn is free. Fruit is free.
0 point
shrimp. I can have all the shrimp,
all the beans.
Yeah.
That they told me, and I was told in multiple, not all my binge eating disorders on the low end of the spectrum of the disorder, and it came out largely with binge eating late at night. And not only did they enable the binge eating disorder, they enabled the nighttime binge eating because I was told, just make this horrible tasting 0 point soup.
Oh my God, the 0 point soup.
Eat as much of the 0 point soup as you want all day. And then you can have whatever you want at night because you haven't had points because you just ate the 0 point soup.
Yeah. 0 points is
I gained the hell out of it. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was given strategies to enable my binge eating disorder.
Yes, and I agree. Me too.
I have a very hard time with that. I have a very hard time with that. The leaders were not given consistent training, and so basically whatever the leader's insecurity or disordered eating or anything like that, whatever she had. Because it was always a woman, right? Totally. Whatever she had was passed on to the membership.
Spilled over to everybody else. Yeah.
I totally agree. I had the same thing. Yeah. And I think a lot of us had that experience and multiple times over because most of us are repeat offenders at Weight Watchers. Yes. We kept going back because if we couldn't do the easiest diet there was, it must be our fault. We must be fat and lazy. It must be us. So what do? I can do it again. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do it again. It's a vicious cycle, that place. Yeah. And that is my problem with it and always has been. And here's my whole thing. Despite of what it is that she's doing here, in my opinion, I think there's a certain generation, they're never going to get back to be on a Weight Watchers plan for sure. Mine.
There's too much trauma there.
There's too much trauma there. Their best bet is to get the new obese people and the new overweight people and get them on GLP-1s, because the first question I get in a live is, I'm on one, what do I eat? Because they're diet culture. What do I eat? I don't know what to eat. You know what I mean? And I thought the same thing. Like, what do you eat? You know, and I think that people don't realize, just take it easy, chill out, eat a little less, see how it goes. You know what I mean? What works for you? What do you like? Do you want a diet? Like, is that what you want in your life? I don't want that anymore. You know, I want to have a normal relationship with food, you know, but I think, you know, I knew I was going to have a lot to say about this one. Sorry guys. Like, I know we have more clips, but yeah, I'm with you, Lori. Like the BED thing, and here we are saying it because I'm probably gonna have to change the ad settings on this. That's okay. But it's important. But I think the you know, the binge eating thing for me has always been a big deal. I even remember my doctor before being like, you can eat all the vegetables you want. No, that is not something you tell anybody ever. Like, you know,
especially somebody with a binge eating problem.
Especially I think they don't you know, it wasn't diagnosed. It was after I was on a GLP-1 that I was diagnosed, that I was talking to my therapist that I was seeing for grief counseling after losing my mother. And she you know, commented on that I was looking good. And I said, oh, I've lost some weight, you know, and all this, and told her I was on the medication and that I felt like it had totally changed my relationship with food. And she said, what do you mean? And as I talked about it, she said, has anyone ever told you that you have an eating disorder? And I said, no, I don't think I do. And she said, you definitely have an eating disorder. And then went through like the checklist and everything with me. And looking back, I very clearly see it, you know, and I see where the, like I said, where it was enabled. And it wasn't just, you can eat all the vegetables you want. It was, you eat this so that you can binge.
Yes.
This is how you binge. This is how you enable the binging.
Weigh-in day was the day to go off the
rails. And like the you can increase your points. Go work out really, 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 really hard, and then you come home and just eat whatever you want.
Yes, that one's
you have to
that one gets me jacked up.
Yes, JT.
So like it's
JT, very, very bad.
So based on your body composition and your age, you were given a set number of points for the day. And then if you got really close to those points, like say dinner time was coming up, right? And you only had like 5, 6, 7 points left, that's not really a meal. So then the point system encourages you, go do high intensity workout so that you can get more points. So you can have a bigger meal.
Weightlifting was not barely
cardio. It was all like hard cardio. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think the intent was to be like, hey, people need a healthy lifestyle, but they were basing the healthy lifestyle off of healthy people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sorry I brought that back for you, Brady. That's the trauma point for me for Weight Watchers.
It is. It's a really
I'm telling you, that's like people. I laugh at people that are like, well, you can't binge eat now that you've had weight loss surgery. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm the queen of learning how to binge eat. I just do it smaller portions more frequently. Listen, I could teach you the ways. Like, I am the queen of it. Like, listen, when I tell you I binge ate and I had a severe binge eating disorder, I'm telling you I maxed out 2 credit cards eating.
Yes.
Thousands of dollars on food. So I could eat. I sat down in a typical day of food without binge eating was 5,899 calories. That's without binge eating. That's without any donuts that came. Like, when I tell you I have a sickness, it's beyond. And that's why I'm like, I don't think it's obesity. I think I'm just.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
So,
I mean, I get it. But like, keep in mind, you wouldn't be where you are now if it wasn't working. I'm just going to say, I love you.
And when I tell you, I do some.
You were just sick and you needed medicine.
Yeah. And
it's all connected. I know. Well, another live for another day. I get it. But yeah, I think you know, it's there's a lot of stuff going on with that. And I just think that the future for their company is not the people that have already been on the diet. It's just not. It's
right.
Not. I think they'll have a really hard time getting that back. I will never do it again.
It's over for these hoes. We are not.
It's over.
That's right. That's
Randy always keeps it real.
We were hoping we were hoping that they could
still have Oprah forever.
This episode, but
it's over now.
Now it's over.
Must have been
yeah, I mean,
it was worth it.
I think if anything, it's sort of like the conversation about, you know, if Oprah's has this one episode, it's really not about the one episode. It's about the conversation that sparks.
Yes.
Okay, but now this is maybe is true about the Weight Watchers. they're sort of saying, okay, we're going to go into this GLP-1 stuff because this medicine is clearly working for people, and maybe they aren't sincere about it. But because Weight Watchers normalizes it and says, hey, if Weight Watchers thinks this is okay, now it spreads out that, okay, I'm not going to do Weight Watchers, but I know that this medicine is okay because Weight Watchers also seems to think it's okay. So if there's some benefit like that, I guess it's a good thing too. But yeah.
I mean, but I do. I mean, it makes sense though. Of course, they're going to have a GLP-1 diet plan. Weight Watchers, they're a diet. Right. They are a diet. You know. Well, and I think that's what some people like, having a diet.
I would be a liar to tell you that I didn't think at some point that I still feel like I needed to make changes, because my whole thought process was nothing but fast food. Do I still eat fast food? Yes. Will I ever take it out of my life? No, because if I do take it out of my life, that's when I go off the freaking rails.
Of course, you're restricting too much. Yes.
Exactly. And so I have to be realistic with my food. Have to. And so today, before this podcast, I had McDonald's.
Me too. Me too. McDonald's. Me too. I had half of a small fry and a burger with only the bun, the only one piece of bun. That's what I had.
No, I did not. I
was a busy girl.
I had a double
cars were breaking.
cheeseburger.
Like it tis
Me
life.
too.
And
Me too.
you should
I had
be
a
able
double
to.
cheeseburger with no pickle.
Me too.
Oh no! Did you just say you took the pickles off?
I took the pickle.
Yeah, you know.
I remember
I
remember Lee's TikTok on.
I can't believe this.
I thought about you, Lee. I thought about you when I said no pickle.
Lee trying all the pickles.
Oh, actually, I got some pickle drama coming. There's some pickles that are suing each other. There's a pickle war.
I like pickles.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
I like pickles.
What'd you say, Randy?
I just don't like super hot pickles, and so sometimes I can't even eat a fried pickle. So like, I just exit those because I want to taste that cheeseburger.
No pickles.
Me too.
Exactly.
Me too.
All right, we have more clips. Let's go and move through. I think we're through. I think we're through the majority of the trauma piece, and now we're just gonna ease out and wrap it up. We're gonna ease out. Everybody with me still?
Don't forget.
Let's do this. Let's process.
Beans.
What?
The beans.
Beans.
We need
double beans real quick. All right, I got 2 beans and then we're going. Ready?
Double beans.
Ready?
Roll it.
And
say goodbye to restrictive.
Could you use it just to say, jumpstart yourself, lose the 100 pounds, then starting Weight Watchers or some other healthy eating plan, working out? Can you manage that way? Or is your body going to always go back to the set point?
When I put someone on a blood pressure medicine, most of the time I don't, and their blood pressure goes down when I put them on that medicine. I don't expect if I take them off their medication that their blood pressure is not going to go back up.
Got it.
So it's very similar with obesity. Now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That blood pressure one is on I hear a lot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, like, there's always that argument of like, is this a drug for the rest of your life? And it's so expensive and forever customers.
Well, it is.
Yeah, we've been that for a while. And we're going to keep being that way. That's the thing, is no matter what the medication, just like with blood pressure or with anything else, like eventually we have to be on these things as we age. Like that's just part also of aging. Like there's plenty of things that we still have to take forever. You know, I think the problem is that people just can't get around the injection piece. I really think people really struggle with giving yourself a shot.
That big scary needle.
It's not like that main veining.
It's not even a big scary needle.
Right.
Actually,
take hormones too.
I love Brandy's perspective. She's like, it's not like we're like junkies out here. Like, give it to me. You know what I mean?
Like, people that don't know, that's what they think. You know?
Well,
yeah.
They also think that everything is our fault too, and that you have to do everything the hard way. So
yes, and it's because they do, or because they never have had to. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. What were you saying, Lee?
Oh, a couple things. I'm on cholesterol meds, and I'm never going to be able to come off those. And because it's hereditary. Every man on my dad's side of the family, back to the late 1800s at least, has died of heart disease or a heart attack. And they didn't have fast food, right? There's a cholesterol issue with how the genetics of the males in my family. So that's just a medicine I'll be on, and I'll probably have to get higher doses as I go older. It's just how it is. But the injections, I will say the reason why I don't like the injections, is because my dad is a diabetic, and he will do injections like at the dinner table, out in public. He'll just whip out his and he'll just do it. And so it's always just been this like it's a gag reflex when I see somebody trying to shoot a needle up in front of me. So me doing it to myself, it's just like, and then it's like, oh, I'm becoming my dad because I'm sitting here having to take shots. And so I don't know. For me, the needle thing, if I could, the pill form, I would prefer. Just saying.
If it worked as good, if it worked as good,
I think it will.
Well, don't they have
studies
a
they're
pill?
doing? It does.
Yeah, it's coming.
Don't they have
eventually.
a pill in development?
Well, they
that
have Rybelsus.
No. One that's in development, that's in testing.
They have a new one, and yes, they have a new one in
getting just as
development
good results.
Yeah, I think it's better, but they have other issues that they're trying to work out. Yeah,
nice.
Sure. Yeah.
I love the comment that said I would shoot it into my eyeball.
Yeah, of course.
Will you all take the pill form though? Will you all take the pill form?
I would.
If it works as good, if it works as good
I
as
need
Mounjaro,
my medicine. I do not care.
I mean, like, look at this. I mean, these are the pills I take every week. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with Lydia.
I've been able to get off a lot of pills since I've been on it.
So,
you know?
For me, with the weight loss surgery, sometimes taking a pill is not so great.
Yeah,
so this injection does not hurt. It does not bother me. I'm thinking about all the other places that maybe I could, but I'm too scared of. And I'm still a tummy girl. I'm always gonna be a tummy girl. But like,
I just wish you could put it in your butt. I don't know why we can't just put it in our butt.
You can.
Wait, okay, now you walked right into it.
Hold on.
Okay,
hold on.
You
That's
can.
what
it was on
butt
purpose.
stuff with cat.
This is
It
right
was
up
on
your
purpose.
alley.
No,
sometimes we gotta lighten up, Francis. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. So I did inject it into my butt, not
Your
the
butt?
my
What?
not the butt,
Inject
but
into your butt.
yeah,
Like your hip.
You inject it into your butt cheek.
right up, yeah,
You
right
did?
up, right. Of course, because it's so my nurses out there.
Your body.
Okay, it is a subcutaneous injection site that nurses use all the time. It's right on the side of your butt,
Right.
and it's like your hip around the side. And that's actually where I did my first injection because I don't like reading instructions. I just got the pill out and I just shot myself. Because
I'm gonna need a demonstration. I need to see how.
I just can't wait for those ER stories. Someone will be like, I found in this guy's butt.
Well, I had an alert.
But
I don't like
now,
reading instructions, so I put it in my butt.
It's not a suppository.
Here's what I was thinking. Not that part of my butt, but the
This went south in a hurry over butt.
I mean, I was trying to lighten it up, guys. Like, you know how I am. Like, you know.
But
it was getting a little serious.
I was thinking more like, okay, hey, I'm gonna do steroids and become like a ripped dude. So that's why I was thinking, they injected in their butts. That's what I was thinking of. So my very first shot on Ozempic, I actually did right to the side of my hip bone on the top of my hip / butt area.
How was Mr. Preston?
It was totally good. It worked. All the things that I hear about people having for their very first week, I had all the things. So now I've never gone back and did it again. But I don't know. On the packaging, it has the 3 spots. But if you Google subcutaneous, because it says a subcutaneous injection site. If you Google subcutaneous injection sites, it's on there. The butt is one of them. But I don't know why it's not listed on the packaging. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna go through.
Wait. We should
clips.
Okay. Wait. I got it. This is not medical advice.
Oh.
I am not a doctor. Okay.
Thank you, Lawyer Lee. Thank you so much.
All right, lawyer. All right, I'm gonna go through 2 at a time now, so we can talk all together. Okay, ready?
There are non-responders to these medications.
Yeah.
There are people that go on the meds and they're like, wait a minute, I lost 4 pounds. Why did this person over here lose 50 pounds? Because that must not be the dysfunction in your body. And it's okay, right? So when we see people as a failure, even when they go on the medications, because it didn't work, it's not their fault.
Does it mean they're not adipose holders?
It just means that that's not the pathway that's dysfunctional in their body. And we're still learning different pathways and how they interact. and interplay with this complex multifactorial disease.
So the drugs may not work for everybody.
Exactly.
Where's Lee? Lee lost 4 inches around his waist on Ozempic. That's a GLP-1. And he's noticed it has silenced what he calls the food noise in his brain. Lee, tell us what that means for you.
Well, for me, I'd say it's like a constant obsession about food. What am I going to eat? What am I going to eat next? I'm thinking about lunch while I'm having breakfast, but it's not just that I'm hungry. It's that I can't stop thinking about it. And so I started Ozempic a little over 3 months ago, and I don't think I really noticed how bad this was for me. And I know my dad suffers from it too, and I don't think I realized that till I started. But when that noise comes down, that volume is gone, and it's like a peace comes over you about food. Your relationship with food becomes normal. Like last night I was at dinner, and we were having lasagna, and I got 2/3 of the way through, and I wasn't feeling full anymore, and I was okay not finishing it.
And you didn't think
and I was
about,
at peace with it.
Let me ask you this. So you didn't think about, I shouldn't have ate that lasagna, or I shouldn't have ate that much lasagna, or I shouldn't have done lasagna, I should have eaten the zucchini.
Exactly. The lasagna was delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had some Caesar salad before, but I got to and this is not something I would have been able to do. And so it's like that it's just this volume in your head is gone, and this noise, and I know it's controversial, but to be honest, if you've had that and then have it go away, the thought of ever going back is a non-starter.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't go back.
Way to go, Lee.
Good job, Lee. I love it. Yes. I remember I sent you a clip of me saying you can't go back. And you know,
can't go back.
while you were there. Yeah. And I mean,
Strange,
that's the thing.
yes.
You can't. It's a
Strange,
non-starter.
that's it.
Love it.
Strange,
Love it.
Lee. Strange.
Thank you. Wait, there's clipping. I'm holding my phone with my other hand, so I can't clip.
It is a great clip.
Everybody's saying, well, if you had a
my
flip.
favorite part of it though was when she goes, "Did you not think that you shouldn't have eaten the lasagna?" You go, "Nope, lasagna was delicious." I love it so much.
Well,
She was like,
right? You went to Carmine's, right? Carmine's.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Carmine's,
I need the entire Carmine's is
It's a lot though. Carmine's is okay.
Family
Here's the
show.
thing though. I went with my mom, and Carmine's is not a place you go with just 2 people. It's
family
like
style.
huge
There's
family
so
style.
much
I didn't
food.
know that. I didn't know that. It was too much. But
I went
Yeah.
with just
so-
my son and made that mistake.
yeah. I mean, it's good though. It's good, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, the very first part, and I mean, obviously, we can talk about my section, but I'm so embarrassed talking about myself. But the first part was about the people who fail it or
Yeah.
feel like it's failing, and it doesn't.
Sure.
This is kind of going around right now on TikTok. I'm sure you have all seen it.
Sure.
That people are talking about how it's not working for them, and they
You are
feel
not supposed
bad.
to adopt it.
Yeah.
They feel bad about it. And there's a guilt over it not working for them. And I feel so bad because I don't think it gets talked about that it
Me too.
doesn't work for everyone. And that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that something's wrong with you or you're not doing it right. It just isn't that is
Sorry,
not the
try something else.
dysregulation.
That's not the dysfunction. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
the dysfunction.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had that issue in my house because I'm on
Oh, wow.
medication and 2 of my adult sons are. One of them is out of the house in grad school. The other one is still living at home. And the one that is still living at home is not responding as well as the other son and I.
Yeah.
Hasn't been since he started it. And he's the one with the most weight to lose.
Mhm.
So, everybody assumes that the person with the most weight to lose is going to lose the fastest and lose
Yes,
the
they do.
most. And that's just not.
I haven't.
Yeah.
He's finally starting to do better. And he actually made the switch from Mounjaro to Wegovy recently. And that seems to have jump started loss for him.
Wow.
Good.
But it was, there were lots of feelings about the
Yeah.
fact that I started in July. He started in late August, early September. And then the third one started end of October and just was losing more and more and more, faster than him.
Yeah.
And that was tough.
Yeah. I bet it was. And we have a clips about genetics that we're going to bring up in just a second. So we can talk about the genetic thing too. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, I mean, and there's a couple things like specifically to it. Go ahead. What you got, Brandy?
I find it interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting someone?
No, you're interrupting.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
No, it's a round table, boo. It's fine.
I find it interesting how everybody describes food noise differently. It's the same but different. So how I describe it for me is you are on an interstate, you're traveling 80 miles an hour, it's raining cats and dogs, the windshield wipers are going, everything is loud. You got the music turned down because you can't see because it's so loud. Yeah. Because I'm that old. And you go under an overpass and for a second it stops. It's completely silent, right?
Yeah.
It's done.
Good one.
It's over.
Yeah, I like that.
That's how my whole life is now when it comes to food.
And
you're under the overpass all the time.
Yeah.
And I have that quietness, that volume is down, like Lee said, and it's with complete and utter chaos all the time until I ate and completely stuffed myself so full that I just wanted to, and that's how it is for me. So I found that interesting how you described it versus, but it's all the same. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, because then Doctor. Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I was just gonna say, for me, it's the never So I say all the time, I never had that switch in my brain that went, "You're full, stop eating," and that switch is there. So for me, that's how the food noise changed for me.
Yeah, so I've described like knowing when to stop eating kind of thing. It's like if you had a sandwich, you're fine because you finish the sandwich, it's gone. That's a portion, you're done. But so many things have large portions that I feel like I was missing the comfortably full space.
Yeah.
So I went from hungry to after Thanksgiving dinner full.
Yeah.
And I missed that comfortably full space.
Same. I didn't have that.
And it was almost like I didn't realize that everybody didn't have that.
Totally.
So it's kind of like I had a horrible sweet tooth, and people would say that's too sweet, and I'm like, there's no such thing as too sweet.
There's such thing.
Rich, but there's not too sweet.
There is too rich, but there's not too sweet. There is now. Ugh.
Yeah, there is now.
Yeah.
So I have a friend that if she goes out to dinner, because portions are so huge, she asks for the to-go box with her dinner. And then
good idea.
Just takes out so much, puts it in the box and sets it aside, because as you're sitting there talking and camaraderie and you're just eating, and then you're like, oh my God, what just happened? So I love that.
I feel like some days, because I tell everybody, like my urge to binge has been shut off, but a sister right here will eat her entire meal. Yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
I will.
I had something similar. It's interesting that you use the car analogy. I kind of do too. I think because of the BED, like for me, it's if I was driving in a car, like if I was a car right before this, right, I only had drive, and that was eat and consume, and that's it all the time. It's all I knew. And then when I got to a certain level of the medicine, I could gear shift. Do I really want that? Do I want to eat all of it? I don't really want to. But before it was like, I have to, I couldn't, and I knew it was happening, and I hated myself for it. But I couldn't stop, and now I can't. And for me, and we're about to go into the miracle clip, that's the miracle. For me, I'd take it forever, even if I didn't lose another pound, because I don't have that anymore.
And haters.
Here we go. The miracle
coming too.
The miracle and the haters and the genetics. Let's do it.
Are these drugs a miracle moment in the life of being a person with obesity? Is this a miracle moment we're having?
I would be very hesitant to say that anything with obesity is a miracle. I think I am so excited that we finally have effective treatments for obesity.
So is it effective treatment? You wouldn't call it a miracle?
It's effective treatment. Some people are going to be on these new medications for a while, and because it's a progressive disease, they're going to need another medicine, maybe. Or they might need bariatric surgery, or, with high blood pressure, I put my patient on a medication to lower their blood pressure. 10 years later, they may need another medicine to keep their blood pressure low because it's a progressive illness. So I would not say anything's a miracle.
Yeah. I think the experience is miraculous, right? For me, I don't know how, like, y'all tell me how you feel too, but like, it isn't a miraculous experience, but like when we see our friends get into maintenance, and I've seen some people be like, I'm not in maintenance, or maintenance is boring, or something like that. Listen, you got, like, almost everybody we know, they have a chronic medical disease. This is not a cure, it's a treatment. There, at some point, we may have to do one of these other things. That's why, and y'all know I preach about it, we have to support each other all the time, because it will not end for any of us. I don't care what we think. Right now, there's no cure. There's only a treatment. You know, that's my 2 cents.
And unfortunately, you have all the people that, like, you see it in the Facebook groups all the time. Well, it's a tool that you're supposed to use to learn how to eat right. And then if you just do that.
Patronizing. That's so patronizing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I think every time I see that is that you're either not on this, or you're not on it for the right reason. That's what I always think when I hear
I've
that.
always, my comment has always been, if you were someone who has not had a weight problem your entire life, or your entire adult life, then maybe that's the case. You know, you're that person that gained weight during COVID and you hadn't been able to get it off. Okay. So then you took the medication. Yes, that might be the case for you. But for those of us who have been overweight our entire life, or our entire adult life, no, it's a disease, and it needs continuous treatment.
And I think it's too, it's like, you never thought it possible, and then it is. Right. And, you know, I'm a year into this now.
That's
still
the miracle.
losing.
Exactly.
That's the miracle, right? Like, that's what people don't understand. It. And the medication is now fixing, you were sick forever, right? And now you're not anymore. That's the miracle,
Rhea,
right?
Rhea has a good point. Rhea has a good point in the comments, guys.
Maybe when it cures alcoholism, it'd be a miracle. True dat.
Or drug
Drop
addiction.
the mic, Rhea. Jeez Louise, that was a great one. See, this is why we're doing this live with the community. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind when people say miracle. I get that a lot. I mean, and I tend to lean towards saying it's miraculous, not necessarily a miracle.
I agree with that. The miraculous.
There's a difference. Yeah. There's a difference because, one, no one waved a wand and did this. Scientists figured this out. And so, two, if it's a miracle, it sounds like it's as good as it gets. And I don't think we're as good as it gets. It'll just get better.
It'll just get better and better.
And then, so the other thing is, I don't know. For some reason, I do lean against saying miracle, but I also understand it completely, because I've had that effect of the food noise. And, you know, so I get that debate.
Yep. Me too. All right, we'll get to the last two, genetics and haters. We're going to combine them. Ready? Here we go. Double threat.
Ansley, you also talked about the genetic piece. You said your dad. That heritability of this disease is something we cannot discount. And a lot of people hate it when I say this, but this is a highly heritable disease.
Yep.
But when I look at people, weight is as heritable as height.
Katara, you say you've been shamed by friends and family after losing 100 pounds with the help of wegovy. Let's talk about that. What happened?
Yes. When I started losing weight, I noticed that some of my friends started being very distant. Initially, they were very happy for me and supportive and told me I did not need to lose any weight and I looked totally fine. But when I started losing weight, they were not happy. And they just started dropping off, as well as my husband never acknowledged my weight loss.
You lost 100 pounds and you didn't acknowledge it?
Well, when I lost the first 50 pounds, I noticed he didn't say anything to me. So I went up to him and I said, I've lost 50 pounds. Have you noticed?
And he said?
He said, yeah, I noticed you look fine. You didn't need to lose any weight. So it made me feel like he was not happy with my weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you still have that husband?
I do.
Okay.
I was wondering the same thing.
You're all wondering. I'm sorry. Excuse us, husband.
Yes.
We just had to ask that question. Yeah.
Yeah, but it surprised me how people reacted to the weight loss. Even now, they tell me don't lose any more weight. You know, they make mean comments. And I really don't know how to deal with that because it's not what I expected, the reaction from my friends and my husband.
I'm so sorry to hear that you went through that. And what you're describing, unfortunately, is so common. We hear this all the time. I'm a psychologist in this field, and so many times patients come to me talking about this. And it's so prevalent that I actually talk to patients about it before they have, treatment for obesity, before they have bariatric surgery, or before they go on these medications. And I think it's important to have these conversations with individuals. We never know exactly what's going to happen, but I think if we can put a plan in place and discuss it, we can be a little bit more prepared for it, right?
To know that people are going to perceive you differently.
Yes.
And people have been accustomed to perceiving you in a certain way.
Exactly.
And you have served that well for them. And then when you become, from their perception, somebody different, they impose whatever that judgment is about that upon you. Although you know that you're the same person.
Yes.
Yeah. But here, you said something that really struck me. And Gail and I talk about this all the time. And one of the reasons why we've been friends for now almost 50 years is that she's always been the happiest for me for anything that ever happened. Actually, happier. And I the same for her. More excited for, oh my God, you're in the color purple. More excited for me. So what you want are friends and partners and relationship for people who celebrate and rejoice in your victory, who celebrate and rejoice in your happiness, because that's a clear sign of envy and resentment when people are not happy for your happiness. That's the living truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some good nuggets. I do love how she was like, do you still have that husband?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank
Call
you.
him out.
That's just
Everybody was thinking
it. Everybody was thinking it.
Right.
I love when Oprah
Yeah.
does stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah.
and what we didn't clip was Gail went on to ask her afterwards and asked, is he overweight or was he overweight? Is he acting that way because he's resentful that like you lost weight? And she said, no, he's not obese.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The one
That's
thing
another layer of codependence.
He got it's exactly what Oprah said. He got used to who she was, and her changing. He doesn't like it. People don't like change. They just don't.
People don't
They
like
get
change.
used to
people
who
don't
you
like
are
change.
and
Yeah.
your position, right, in their life.
And I think with a spouse too, some people like a bigger body. That's what they were attracted to.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And now they don't really. It's just not. I don't know. That was really awkward though. The whole place was so quiet when she was talking because everyone was like, "Oh, damn," that's messed up.
She needs some new friends.
Yeah. Right.
She needs some new friends. I will say, like I did have some of my friends, because I've lost weight many times in my life. There were some that fell off during the second the weight loss attempt in my 20s. Lost these really quickly. So the show, I always say quickly and it ends up being long. My mother's obsession with my weight, right? And it became like sometimes maybe like a pleasing point to her so I could be slim or thin or whatever. I remember I lost 50 pounds. I came to Charlotte to visit my sister when my niece was being born. I walked in the room. They had not seen me in like several years. That woman said not one blippity beeping beeping word to me, period, about my size. And I confronted her about it, as I gained weight in the future, because that's what I did. She's like, well, you just didn't look that small to me. Ma'am. Yeah. So,
ma'am.
But you know what? And the years of growing and growth and in therapy, I realized I'm doing this for myself. I guess I felt like I had to prove something to her.
Sure.
And that heifer didn't say
I get it.
She was used to me in one way, and it was envy, resentment, and she didn't know how to deal with me as her slim daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom really didn't have much, I would say, weight issues. She's always been, I would say, like a thin average, like an average thin. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when she was younger, I would say pretty thin. Not like a skinny person, but thin, healthy, fit. She was always super active, like played tennis and all the things. But I don't know, like I look back on it and I think there were some decisions that I don't know. I've got a lot of grace for her. And I also feel like now that I've gotten older,
well, you've grown. I ain't got no grace for that.
Well, it doesn't sound like she's grown, your mama, but I think my mom has. And so it's been different. And when I do feel like when I do mention certain things to her, like there are times where she used to kind of like, I would be eating something and she would go, "You don't need that." And I'm like, "Really?" And then I would eat it on purpose. Right. Like, but she literally, I think the mindset is, let me snap you out of this. You don't realize how serious this is. Stop it. I just want you healthy. I love you, and I think that it comes across like that. But and there've been plenty of times on my weight loss journey where, I don't think she cares so much about the way that I look. She really just wants me to be here longer. But I didn't always think that growing up. I didn't. Yeah. And I do think too, like when I had a child, I have a lot of grace for my mom now, especially. It's hard and knowing the right thing to do and say and what's appropriate and what's not, like that's not easy. And I look back and I think her heart was always in the right place. You do what I mean? And there are things that she said that weren't good. There are things my dad said that weren't good.
It was like her generations.
That was the best thing, Lori.
I know.
It's like her generation's way of like shaking you, like trying to shake you into it or wake you up.
It's like when they would say to depressed people, like, snap out of it. You can't just do that.
Her generation had
it's
Coca-Cola,
not like that.
Coke in the Coca-Cola. Like,
exactly.
Our moms did benzos. Like our moms had
benzos.
Had addictive drugs that they could take to
my mom really didn't, but
they were painting at 11 o'clock at night.
Attention matters.
Yes. So I just wanted to chime in here because of that clip from Oprah was really good. And this is where there's so many Oprah haters and they say she's phony and all the things. Yeah. But if you watch her just there talking to this woman whose husband wasn't responding to her, and the way she was talking was from a person who lived it and has walked this walk.
100%.
And she was so genuine. Yeah. And she just, I don't know people who's going to come at Oprah. I mean, she's a multi-billionaire. I get that. But you can't talk to another human being like that in the same space as you physically and not be a genuine person, because she was connecting with that person who she didn't ever know, but immediately resonated with her. And that just to me was one of the moments where I was like, okay, Oprah she's a real person and she's a good person.
I'd imagine a lot of friends have fallen off with her. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like she had walked that walk, maybe not with a husband, but with the friends. She pointed out, like, listen, like me and Gail, we've recognized we're genuinely happy for each other. We're more happy for each other sometimes than we even are for ourselves. And so like her saying that, like it hit me in the heart because like I've had friends like that. I've had friends that, that change. I changed and then they changed and our friendship changed. And like, that's okay. But you realize like why it changed, right? They got used, just like Oprah said, they got used to who you were. They got used to that whatever you filled for them in their life, and you changing yourself, you don't feel that anymore.
Right? It's the feeling they gave you. Yeah.
I feel like the friendship that Gail and Oprah have is not something everyone experiences.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's very, very hard to find.
And it's important to remember you're never going to find that in every single friend. Right? You can make friends that hit you in a different part of your life, in a different area of your life, but you're never going to find that deep type of relationship in every single friend you ever make.
But it was more than friendship because if you remember Oprah's story, she went into depth about the last romantic relationship she had before she made it big. And this guy treated her like dirt.
Yeah.
And he pretty much made her feel like, well, because you're in a larger body, I mean, like any way he could degrade her, he did. And because of maybe where she was in her life and where she was emotionally and mentally, she said, I took it. And so I saw it as she connected with her on the friendship level, but if you know her story, she connected with her about that man. And it's almost kind of like you could see where like the train wreck is getting ready to happen, but you can't turn away, but you're trying to tell the person, hey, this train is about to wreck. And that's why, in my opinion, she said what she said and how she said it. She was like, are you still with that husband?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and the
You know,
whole
Gail has
panel
definitely been through
even
that.
said
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But the whole panel said we're thinking the same thing, and my heart went out to that woman because did you see how like she was like, yeah, and it's like, oh my God, this is so painful to watch. And it's and it's not saying you should leave your husband, but that's a huge like double red flag. It's like so much going on there. So
Your
I
husband
think
and
she
your friends.
connected with her.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
sounds
I
like
think
there's
overall,
something within her that she, maybe because she's attracting these people.
Yeah.
There's some growth.
So
Opportunities there.
So I want to go on what JT was saying and where Kat led with that is I was just talking with another GLP-1 creator on here, and she said the whole time I was fat, obese, I took so much crap from friends and family and men especially. And she said, and as I started losing weight, it was like I got to this one point where it clicked. Well, in my therapy sessions, I was starting to get thin. I was starting to get more confidence, but I was still choosing those type of individuals, men specifically, in my life, right? And I was like, I don't know why I just can't, I look good. I look great. Why can't I just be like, you're not the type of man I want? Why am I still accepting it? And my therapist says to me, this is how I'm going to put it for you. He's like, you have been given a very fast, bright, shiny sports car that's a manual transmission, and you don't know how to drive stick. And so you're grinding gears and you're popping clutch and you're doing whatever because you've never accepted anything better. So you have to unlearn those bad behaviors and acceptance of that so you can move forward and take in the blessings of relationships that are good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly, Rachel. Agreed. Yeah, I think and it's like overall, and we can, I know we've been on a long time, so we can wrap it up. But I think overall it was a pretty good episode. It wasn't earth shattering. I think it's a good start to the conversation. I like that she's using her platform to discuss it. I even see like being able to have it where there are more pieces of the conversation and paying to be a part of the channel and all that different stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that the first one should have been a bare minimum, something to bring everybody in and unite people. And I wish that she had done that. I did not like, I'm just going to be honest. It bothered me that she either pretended to not know a lot of things, Oprah herself, right? Or that she really didn't know them. And that did bother me. But I also think that was probably a strategy to make people feel in the room like they were learning together, because I don't buy that she didn't know it. And I didn't like that. It bothered me because Oprah knows all the things. And she's such a pro. Like, I can't imagine she walked in a room and didn't know how to pronounce Adipose. Stuff like that. Like, that in general, it was a little cringy. But other than that, and I love the specialists that she had on. Hopefully we can get them on our show. We'll see, But,
Dr. Rachel, you out there, call us.
Give us a call.
For sure. Dr. Fatima too.
Dr. Fatima.
All of them. They're all really good.
I mean, can I manifest? Hold on. Let me manifest the biggest one. Oprah. Come on, Oprah.
Let's manifest it.
Girl.
Oprah's going to come on, girl. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pull some strings. I'll pull some strings.
Yeah, work on that. I'm going to need you to work on that.
Yeah, now everybody in my family and my friends are always like, "Oh, you should call Oprah. Yeah. You should see if Oprah wants to."
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Like we're best friends now.
Sure.
You made her laugh.
I mean, I say friend of like Oprah.
I did make her laugh. I did make her laugh.
Yeah.
Can we just try to get all of the doctors, because they each had?
They were all good.
I mean,
I get pretty scrappy. We're gonna try.
I just think
are they all on TikTok? Because that is the magic sauce for me. Is TikTok
I think Dr. Rachel is.
Dr. Rachel is.
Yeah,
and she's on Instagram too.
I felt so like about with Dr. Rachel, or I felt like the love I have for Dr. Rachel is because she was a consultant on The Whale, and The Whale was a very powerful movie.
Yeah, for sure. I really want Brendan Fraser. I really want someone who didn't know anything about this and learned about it on the show, but he's not on social anywhere.
He said his name is pronounced Brendan Fraser.
Oh, really?
Fraser.
Well,
Fraser.
regardless,
He made like
he
a
ain't
joke.
on
He made like
social,
a
and I
silly
can't find him
YouTube. He's
nowhere.
like, everybody mispronounces my name. It's Fraser. I'm like, okay.
I really want that perspective on the show. Hey, like, what did you learn, and why is it different, and how are you changed? I want to know. He needs to tell us on the show. Anyway, we're working on it. Aspirations, y'all. We're all going to manifest. We can try to manifest Oprah, but let's be real.
Sure. No,
Well, I mean, look,
maybe
look,
Oprah.
I don't think Oprah goes anywhere, but on her show, and you know what? Good for her.
Maybe we might be flown out to New York or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't think so.
Look,
we talk I mean, y'all, I'm very controversial, especially with the Weight Watchers stuff. Like I put it out there, and I'm not sorry. So, you know,
good. Don't be.
Anything,
maybe the doctors.
But anything is possible. And
yeah,
if we could get some of the doctors on here, and even though we say, and I get what you're saying, Kim, that it wasn't earth shattering, probably because we're so deep in the community.
Well,
but
we've also been talking about all of those things for 6 months nonstop. So
but you know, for people, and
it's all relative.
And I think that we all see it, that come in and they're like, well, what is the difference between Mounjaro and Ozempic? And they don't
so glad to
know.
have you, Sandra. Yeah.
You know, so maybe, hopefully, this gets the wheel to turning outside of the community. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, and that was kind of going to be my point about. That was going to kind of be my point about her show, is that like you hit it on the head earlier, Kim, with, you know, she's talking about the same things we talk about every day. She's in her show, she's talking about exactly the same things we talk about on the podcast. We all talk about in our TikTok lives, right? She's talking about all the same things. However, she knows that she has a much larger platform, and I have to at least commend her that she used that giant platform to go, okay, here it is. Everybody look here.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Everybody understand this. Everybody needs to understand this.
So the one thing that's actually biting her a little bit on it not being free for everyone is some people are taking clips of the show out of context and making it sound like she's saying things that she's not.
Oh, that's
but
awful.
People,
that
I know, but then
I feel bad for
people,
Oprah that they do that.
I know, but I'm just saying, if it was free, then they could just go watch it. But instead, in order to fact check that false narrative, they'd have to pay, and so they don't, and then it just spreads.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't.
But
it wasn't a good move.
But
she could have done better. But y'all know, I love Oprah, so I always will. I don't see anything changing that. But you know, I know there are a lot of people that feel like that this is something I got a lot from the comments, guys, is that people were saying things like, and we can wrap it up, but like people were saying things specifically. I want to make sure they have a voice, because none of us had this opinion. People were saying things like, no, I saw her shame the Olsen twins. I saw her contribute to diet culture. I've seen this, and she's not the representation for us. And I actually disagree with that, because I think she was I feel like Oprah's show, and y'all know I love it. Oprah's show, she constantly, it looked like she was in search, right? In search for the answer, and search for the solution. And then anytime she would find something that worked, she just wanted to help other people and shout about it and talk about it.
Share it with everybody.
And then eventually it didn't work. And why? Because she's got obesity. You know, it wasn't her fault either. So, but my mind, I was all up in that diet culture crap, because I thought it was the only way. And I do think it was a good point that the CEO said, we know better, we do better. And at some point we have to go, in my opinion, for things to heal, for things to mend, for us to move forward and get past all this crap. You know what I mean? We got to take a step forward and go, okay, it's done. And we just don't feed back into it, and we don't keep it going. And for me, I'm telling you, the fact that I'm even saying this is not easy for me, because I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I don't put it aside, and I don't move forward, and we don't have the hard conversations, then we're never going to evolve. And this will not be a movement like we want.
The conversation won't
nice
change.
People have a conversation. Like we want things to change. You know?
Yeah, the conversation is the point. The conversation is the key. I think that's true, that no one's asking Oprah to be our spokesperson or our representative for the community.
Absolutely not.
That's absolutely right. No, we don't want that. But the point is that now people are talking. A lot more people are talking than they even were before, and that's the conversation.
That's the point.
The conversation, yes.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, this was really good, guys. I think we're ending on a good note, and we can all go drink our water and go to the bathroom. And yes, and don't forget podcast 10 for $10 off for your cute little Stanley Mounjaro thingy.
You know, Lee, you needed an Ozempic one.
Yeah, mine is just this is like a rip off. This is like a I don't know. It's not even.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's not even a real. It's not even.
He got that
at
Costco. He got a 2-pack of those at Costco for $19.99.
Hey,
thank you. Yes, I do.
Costco,
they do have a dupe available of this, by the way.
They do.
So
they do.
I'll get you the link.
You know what?
Yeah, they do.
Nothing beats my pumpkin.
Sure. All right. Well, we lost a couple of our panelists, but man, they hung on for a long time.
They did.
And I'm super appreciative.
Yeah, they did.
Let's all go be with our friends, family, rest, good bathroom. Thank you so much for joining us for the important conversation. Please subscribe if you don't. And we're so happy to have you here. And let's change things. Let's help people and change things. Be a part of that with us. We're really glad you're here. We want to make a movement. Let's do it. Okay.
All right.
All right. Asta. La pasta. I got to pay one more bean footage. It's going to take us out. And
good night, guys.
Roll it. Ready?
Good night.
And
we're ready.
Good night.
Bean footage.